Whoop, helps if I don't talk into the mute button. What's up, everybody? It's Jacob. Thanks for coming out tonight on a Saturday. We're going to talk a little bit about some AI, some robots, some AI slop, and some dystopia. So thanks for coming out. Happy New Year. Wow, it's already 2026, and a lot of stuff's been going on in the news, and I thought I wouldn't talk about any of that because we'll get plenty of that for the rest of the week, I'm sure. So I thought I would just kind of pick some topics that are unrelated and talk about some things that been happening in 2025. They're kind of leading into 2026 as well. And I hope you had at least a semi-fruitful 2025. It was kind of rough for me, but I'm actually really looking forward to this year. A lot of fun stuff's is already brewing. So speaking of which, I've redesigned my OBS or my streaming software from the ground up. So it's subtle, but it's the first layer in what I'm going to be building for the next level in the AI characters. So just to kind of give you a little taste, you can see how things swoosh around, right? Some things swish around, which kind of brings me, we can start the live stream off with a little bit of AI slop here. Kind of given my thumbnail here, leading directly from the Star Trek influence. Let's check out this music video made by Wicked AI, which I actually give them a subscribe and a like if you want to see more AI pop culture influenced AI videos. Let's play this for a little bit, and then actually kind of have something I want to comment on this video. But let's here we go. Let's play it on. Yeah.
With the Vulcan delegation, the most boring celebration in the United Federation. The Klingons and the Romulans were trying to be polite. Not even William Riker's getting lucky here tonight. That's when the idea struck me. I let Ghana know the score. Then I found the nearest holodeck and opened up the door. Computer, give me disco. Put some glitter on the screen. I want the funkiest roller program that this ship has ever seen. Synthesize the rhythm, make the polyester shine. Kill the lights and set the star date to 1979.
There you go. So yeah, Wicked AI, give them a sub and a like. All right. Yeah, I guess, and speaking of more AI slop, I found this. I don't even know if the audio is copywritten on this, but I'm going to give it a risk here. But it looks like we have a mashup between Arnold and our favorite singer here. Or Whitney Houston. Let's check it out.
Clock strikes upon
oh
the
Lord!
hour, and the sun begins to fade. Still
Definitely not in the same range.
enough time to figure out how to chase my boobs away.
All right, well, that's enough of that. I don't want to rot your brain too much, but anyway, let's see, who do we have in the chat tonight? It looks like we have Night Owl and Crystal Kitten. I think you were on. I don't know if you've been to my live streams before, but you were on Baddie's live stream that I was on a few nights ago, which was a lot of fun. I was there like 5 hours. That was a long one, but a good one. Okay, so let me queue up the next thing here. We've got yeah. So I don't know if how all of you are with 70s movies, but when I was a kid, there was Young Frankenstein, which was a really cool parody on the Frankenstein movie. It was written by Gene Wilder, who played Dr. Frederick Frankenstein. And yeah, so you know how they go with these baby things with the AI slop, and they took some audio and applied it to the baby AI. So let's check this out.
Dr. Frankenstein.
Frankenstein.
You're putting me on.
No, it's pronounced Frankenstein.
Do you also say Froderick?
No, Frederick.
Well, why isn't it Froderick Frankenstein?
It isn't. It's Frederick Frankenstein.
I see.
You must be Igor.
No, it's pronounced Igor.
So there you go. The rates have gone up. All right. So yeah, that was a classic. That was a classic from when I was a kid. All right. So I'm just warming you up here till more folks come in, but let's take a look at, I found another short here on this guy. He found an exhibit. I think it was at SFO. Let me see if I can call this up here. Here we go. Yeah, I believe it's an exhibit in the airport that's it's woke and it's lame, but it's not lame because it's woke. It's lame for other reasons. So let's check this out.
If you're in a good mood today and don't want to be in a bad mood, feel free to keep on scrolling. But right now I'm in the San Francisco airport, and there's an exhibit here called Women of Afrofuturism. And at first it seems like, a positive art exhibit about women of color, but then if you come down here to the bottom in the small text, it says generative AI. So not only are they not using real artists or real women of color, but the whole exhibit is actually generated by AI. Look at it.
Isn't that crazy? Like, they're just too lazy to go and actually curate any actual real people. Like, looks like they got some Uhura knockoff here. I don't know what that is, but yeah, that's kind of pathetic.
This AI, all of it. If you're looking at these images right here, all the credits are generative AI. I think that's insane. And then over here, there are black people in the future. Are there? Right now we have an exhibit that's supposed to be promoting women of color and artists, and none of those three things are human in the exhibit. Anyway, let me know what you think down in the comments. I think AI is going a little too far.
Well, I wouldn't say that it's AI going too far. I think it's people that don't have a creative bone in their body going too far. I don't know what you think of that, chat. Let me know. Oh, hey, Lily. Thanks for coming out tonight. Did I wake you up? Thanks for coming. I know it's really late for you. I always appreciate you coming in and checking in and watching the live streams. Also, too, if you are new, excuse me here, I got an itch on my eyeball. If you are new to the live stream, I do launch AI characters that you can interact with in the live chat, and you do need to be a subscriber, and there's about a 20-minute window. So if you do want to talk with the AI characters, subscribe now, and I'll pull one up in about 20 minutes. Just to let you know, we have the 8-Ball Oracle, which you can put this command in the chat below. You see exclamation point 8-ball, space followed by your question. Please no emojis and no quotes. Keep it PG-13. And of course, we have the ever popular Hail 9000, which is the same command here. I'm sorry, I have an old entry in here. Let me pull in the question. Actually, I think I was testing it. Yeah. What is your favorite music? Here we go. All right. So there's the command. You want to put in exclamation point H9 space followed by your question. If you want to send a question for the Hail to answer, and Hail speaks in the voice, if you know what I mean. So we'll pull those up later so you can interact with those. So you do have to be a subscriber. So let's get back to our video slots for tonight. They always promised 4 things to us. One is flying cars, right? Jetpacks, fusion. They always promise fusion. And now they're promising artificial general intelligence. I don't know when that's going to come. I think it will. But, they keep saying, oh, we're 20 years off from fusion, 10 years off, 5 years off, 5 years off, 5 years off. And they keep pushing it off. But it looks like we got jetpacks, kids. So let's check this out and see. This is not AI, by the way. So let's see if how this guy works. It looks like he's got jets on his hands and nothing in his feet. So this is kind of like an Iron Man thing he's got going on here. So let's check this out.
Flying man. He is called the flying man of China.
He's got to be wearing special pants. I don't know about that.
अपने शोल्डर पे एक बड़ा सा मशीन लगाएगा. This guy has machine on both the hands as well as a big machine on his shoulder, on his back. So let's see how he is, able to fly with this technique.
All right, let's get to it, man.
So I got this chance. I visited Shanghai this year. I got the chance to look and see this, exceptional talent which is coming from China.
This build-up, it's killing me. It's killing me.
This is
It's
in
worth
fact
it,
great.
trust
Like
me.
You will be seeing a lot of,
Yeah, there he goes. He's got his minders.
lot
See him
of
in the back
stuff,
saying, everybody get out of there,
technical
back
stuff,
off.
lot of, which is unbelievable. Unbelievable. Yes. Look.
There we go.
Wow. Come on, is it original? Yeah. That is cool. Wow. That's the key.
Awesome.
Cool today. Thank you. Like the
I don't know how high he can go in that thing, but I don't know. I see street sweeper. That'd be a pretty quick way to get the streets clean. Yeah, that's funny. Night Owl says he's the Jacques Cousteau of air. That's hilarious. All right, so let's see. What else do I have? I queued up a couple of other things here. Yeah, this is for those of you that know, a lot of you come from Raymond, and his dad is Homefront Forge. And I actually found this short. It's AI. It's AI. I'm not going to try and pull anything over your eyes, but apparently somebody made this this Milwaukee backpack that helps you hang drywall. I have to mute it because it has Coolio music on it, but check this out. There's no way that that would even physically work because A, those arms are too dinky, and that would probably break his back or jack up his back. There's no way. Plus over here in the corner, it's all like, see how he puts it in the corner and then it's like crooked and then he hammers it in and leaves it there. Not a very good job. But anyway, I just put that in there for you, Homefront, in case you catch the replay. I thought you'd get a kick out of that. All right, one last short. Let's get a little bit of dystopia. So let's, this is an XAI engineer is warning that winter's coming for developers. While this is specifically about software developers, there's actually some other important points in here, and I wanted to play this for you.
Do you really see a world where engineers don't have room to work anymore because AI just does it better?
It's a great question. I don't know. I think in fairness, in context, my opinion is a minority opinion, but I'll make a valiant defense for why I believe this time is different. And I know how bizarre that sounds whenever someone says that. I mean, let's go way back first, right? People often say, well, Philip, you say all this, but in 1910, 40% of the American population was involved in food production, farmers and things like that. Now it's less than 4%.
And that 4% comes from all the mechanisms and machinery and technology that got its start from the cotton gin, right? All right, and this dude's hair, wow, that is a task in the morning. That's all I'm going to say there.
So like, things are fine, right? The difference now is we are telling the actual farmer, you need to find a different job right now. Yeah. And in fact, that job in 3 years might also be fundamentally eliminated. So you need to maybe change the subsequent job in 18 months, right?
Yes, that's what's different this time around, is that we had the mass migration of the farmers. They went into the factories, and there's not going to be that ability to switch. So that's why he's talking about how like, oh, you're gonna have to retrain every 18 months. And I'll talk a little more about how that's going to be like for knowledge workers later on, but let's finish this.
The second thing that's different about it is we used to tell people to retrain, and that was a fine thing to do because there were many other jobs for which they could easily be retrained for that society would appreciate them doing. What if you are the type of white collar worker where a lot of other white collar jobs you wanted to train into and are capable of training into are also jobs that AI is doing? And lastly, people forget that American unemployment, if it ever hits 4%, we're in a world of hurt. Like 6% is like heading toward depression territory, right? I'm saying if you can even imagine AI taking.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. I don't know what the unemployment rate was during the Great Depression. Let's look that up real quick. Call up here ChatGPT, and let's see. I'll start a new chat. Let's see. What was the unemployment rate during the Great Depression? And of course, that's the American. I mean, it was worldwide, but. Oh, I have to send it, don't I? Duh. Oh, wow. So right after the crash, it was, or before the crash, it was 3%. So it's not like the crash was like, instant. It was building up. So that's still kind of around where it is today. And then at the peak was 25%. Roughly 1 in 4 American workers was unemployed, and about 13 million people out of work. Yeah, because I remember it was like 10 years. It took a long time to crawl out of that. And, let's be honest. It took a war. It took a war to increase their production to match all the crazy economic things and get everybody back to work. Let's see here. Other industrial nations were also hit hard, but the U.S. unemployment peak of around 25% remains one of the highest ever recorded in a developed economy. Wow. Yeah, so let's see. The sycophancy of AI kicks in here. It's mentioning, compare this to 2008 and the COVID era. Yes, please compare the Great Depression rate to the 2008 Great Recession and the COVID era unemployment rates. So I don't know if you noticed, like I did a little thing here where it makes it easy for me to record and with my voice and talking to ChatGPT, just a subtle change that I made. And also something too that I did to make playing the videos easier. I actually found a really cool system that I didn't know this, but it's used quite heavily in television production, lots of conferences where they give keynotes and churches and things. And it's an open source program that's totally free. And it allows me to write little programs that can control my operating system. So now when I push my scene to say, okay, I'm going to go to the YouTube scene here, it changes the scene for you, but it also brings that same browser window to the forefront, and then I can control it. And that was one of the things that just drove me crazy with my previous configuration, is I was like, oh, where's that window? I have to go find it. So yeah, it's saving me a ton of time. So anyway, that's why I haven't been recording regular videos. I'm just trying to fix some little, niggles and things and burrs and things that were bugging me. Anyway, here, so let's go back to the different rates. So the Great Depression was around 25% at its peak in 1933. So that was about 4 years in. Let's see, the Great Recession was 10%. I didn't know it was that high. That's crazy. And COVID was 14.7. Wow. So that just kind of gives you a feeling of for, like he's saying, if we get to 4 and 6% or 6%, it's not good. And he's saying, oh, that was depression, but we had 10%, we had 14%. Did they call them depressions? No, they didn't. In fact, they called the 2008 one the Great Recession. And then for the cough, they just redefined what a recession was and just kept saying we were in a recession. So yeah, all that typical BS. Anyway, let me cue up the next thing here. Thanks everybody for coming out. I appreciate it. While I'm trying to make sure, just double checking everything with my new rig and my new setup here. So far, it's been going pretty well. So to bring back the nostalgia and to prove that AI slop isn't always a thing. I actually found this older video that if you remember Funny or Die, in the early days of the internet, they'd put out these little funny videos, and I found the 1982. I don't know if you knew this or not, but there was a 1982 Tron holiday special.
Tonight, a Yuletide treat for the whole family. It's the Tron Holiday Special. Most of your favorite characters are back. Dan Shore as Ram, Bob Neal as Guard Number 2, Pierre Vuillemier as Tank Gunner, and many more. With special guests including TV's Mr. Cotter, Gabe Kaplan.
Guys, we gotta get the CompuPresents presents to the orphanage grid, or there's not gonna be a Cyber Christmas.
Sorry, fair use YouTube. I am transforming this work with my commentary. Okay, back to it.
Reynolds and Dom DeLuise.
You're the man. Let's go.
And appearances by Vicki Lawrence as Mama, NFL running back O.J. Simpson, the gang from Fraggle Rock, and the one and only Santa Claus. Featuring the music of Jefferson Starship.
Laserbacks, Christmas nights, we are the thought leaders, Yuletide kings.
All right, just pausing for fair use, YouTube.
This is for you.
A CompuPresent? For me? I've never processed so much joy data.
Merry Cyber Christmas Master Control Program.
Okay, well, you three get a room, especially you, Fancy.
Rip Taylor?
I know who it is. It ain't Rip Torn. Oh, Rip.
See, this is the difference between now and then. When I was a kid, Rip Taylor, he'd had this whole gag where he would always crash talk shows, and he'd throw confetti on the audience from a bucket, and total sugar in the gas tank. Nobody said anything. Nobody cared. He was entertaining, and he didn't shove it in your face. All right, let's get back to it.
Join the fun with the Tron Holiday Special.
With the confetti.
Followed by a very Battlestar Galactic Christmas.
Awesome. It's funny. The reason why I'm kind of like going out and trying to find these things. I'm trying to up my game a little bit. Yeah, you like that, Night Owl? Because more of this stuff's coming. Because I'm upping my game with video editing. I'm moving up. I use ScreenFlow, which originally is designed to record your screen, so that you can do video tutorials. And I had another channel ages ago where I was gonna set it up and teach people how to do different things with cloud and all that stuff. And I just never got in, never did it. And then a few years goes by, I'm like, oh, I got this ScreenFlow software, and now I'm doing this channel. I'll just use that to edit my videos. And it was super easy, real quick. But I can't do fun stuff like this. So I was just kind of looking at other things that people were doing. And the new software that I got is DaVinci Resolve, which is just, man, that stuff is insane. The amount of features that are packed into that, just even the free version. And then for $300, there's all kinds of AI tools that they throw in there that are really awesome. What I won't bore you with, but it just allows you to do cinematic quality content. So anyway, I just wanted to I was looking around and for parodies and stuff, I saw that. I was like, oh man, that's crazy. Because with AI, that would be so easy to make that today. But you know, how much AI do we really want to like do it? I kind of had this conversation with Batty on his stream a couple of nights ago about that, where I was really kind of juggling with the idea of like, how hard do I want to push using AI to do everything versus filling gaps where I fall short, or maybe I want to prove a skill, or maybe just kind of zhuzh up a little bit something that I'm making, and that's where I feel I want to be, is somewhere in there, instead of just doing full AI generated stuff and then just relying heavily on that, because now anybody can do it. So how else am I going to inject my personality and my authenticity into the work if I do total art? So when I found this old video, I was like, yeah, I could do that with the new DaVinci Resolve stuff. And I kind of saw all the things that they were doing and kind of laid out in my head like how I could actually do something like that. So stay tuned. All right. So let's see. What else do I have lined up here? Just want to check a couple other things here. Oh, yes. So getting back on the topic of AI gone awry, I've been seeing a bunch of news stories popping up of driverless cars getting into driving into the middle of situations that are not good. And while this is a TMZ article, because we all know TMZ is a reliable news source and a paragon of journalism, this article does show something, demonstrate something, and have a couple other examples that I want to show you to explain why this is happening, and why maybe it's probably a good idea not to completely rely on self-driving taxis quite yet. So in this particular instance, about a month ago, we had Waymo, which is Google's self-driving taxi service. So basically they're Uber with no drivers. And it drove into the middle of a police standoff in Los Angeles. And one of the things that's really difficult about training self-driving cars is they basically have to show it or train it or have it experience every single scenario you can imagine. And they try and think of everything, but apparently nobody thought of having a self-driving car go into the middle of a police standoff. So actually there's video of this. So let's see what happens. Let's see how the Waymo went through there. I don't know if it blasted through there or if it just kind of went through there confused or what, but let's check this out. I think this is a police cam video, if I recall. So let's check this out.
Fucking Waymo. Oh my God. Oh my God.
So there's the assailant.
What the fuck is that Waymo doing?
He's still on the ground. So yeah, that could have been dangerous. That could have been really, really, really dangerous, because that assailant could have been hurt. There could have been ricochets from bullet fire, all that stuff. Who knows? But yeah, so, but not to be outdone, there's some other things going on with Waymo. Oh yeah, see, we got some activity here in the chat. Let me go over here. Oh, hey, 07, what's up? Thanks for coming out tonight. Jacob, Ray did a computer build live. Yeah, I did see that. I saw him kind of getting a little frustrated and yelling. So I was like, yep, that's a computer build, all right. I used to do that when I was early college. That's what I did for money. Back in the day before we had Dell and what was the other one? Gateway Computers, if you remember, with the cow patterns, and HP and all those companies started doing online e-commerce where you could go to their website and order the computer and have it shipped to you. There were just an absolute bevy of little mom and pop stores where you could go and buy the computer you wanted, and they would custom build everything. And I remember there was a magazine that was like that thick that would come out like every week or 2 weeks. And I think it was called Computer Byte or Computer Reader or something like that. And it was literally every page was ad after ad after ad of all the mom and pop stores. And the one store that I worked for was Byte and Floppy computer. And they had the full page spread on both sides. They were the big game in town. And I remember, and there is a tie to this. I remember working there, and O.J. Simpson was on the run, and he was running on his after he got caught. He was in his Bronco, and it was on the news. So anyway, I lost the video where the Waymo went through. Oh wait, it was in the article section. Yeah. So yeah, there is a tie. There is a tie to everything that I'm talking about. Oh yeah, Smokey and no bandit is right, Lily. That's for sure. All smoke and no bandit. Let's see, what's this? He got it to post RAM and 2 of the 4 was the issue. Oh yeah, sometimes if you don't seat them right or the clock speeds off, but you know what? He probably, with what's going on with RAM right now, who knows what quality they're selling you right now, where they're just trying to get stuff out the door. If you can get your hands on any for the obnoxious price, you probably got a bum RAM or something. But anyway, yeah, I did a lot of that. Lots and lots of that. Back in the old days when your sound had a dedicated card, you put in a modem, you had a printer card. We're talking way back. It was long time ago. All right. Anyway, I hope your build goes well, Raymond. Yeah, Sound Blaster. That's exactly what I put in. I love those Sound Blaster 16s. They had the FM synthesizer chips in them, so you had like the better music instead of the 8-bit Mario Brothers pulse width modulation technology. And I think then there was the Gravis Ultrasound, which did wavetable, which is basically just glorified sampling. If any of you are into audio engineering, I won't bore you with all that. But your boy was an audio engineer for a small stint. Okay. Let me get back on track here. Yeah, so we're talking about them driverless cars. So I found this other news report where and I'm not picking on Waymo. This is just the nature of training self-driving vehicles, is that, like I was saying, you have to show them every single scenario so that they won't drive through a person. In fact, I don't know if I can find it. I don't recall the name of the documentary. I'll look it up later. But I remember a documentary about 10 years ago talking about how they were training the self-driving cars. And one of the things they literally did, which would get them in woke jail. Oh, woke jail. They had a guy walk out between 2 cars. He was a Sikh, and he had his turban on. He'd walk out in front of the car, and then the car stopped and goes, "Oh, that's a pedestrian." Then another guy, he walked out with a massive turkey breast wrapped in tinfoil in front of his head, so that when the car saw him, all he saw was the tinfoil turkey, and he hit the dude. So yeah, but like, who would think of wrapping a turkey in tinfoil and walking out between cars would flummox a driving vehicle? But like I said, that was the state of the technology 10 years ago. But anyway, that's the same reason why you have to cover all the scenarios, and why these Waymos they don't know that the cars are stopped and there's police officers, pulling out weapons and trying to suppress, or whatever the term is, to get the assailant on the ground and subdue him and collect him to throw him in jail. It doesn't know that, but it did observe the other stopped vehicles, and it navigated them quite well. But what if there was like live, active fire, or assailants and cops running through? So that's where the AI is not going to be trained. So let's look at another example here of another scenario, another emergency situation that a Waymo blasted through again. Not the same Waymo, but another, let's just say another self-driving vehicle, because I don't want to just say that Waymo's bad, because this is a problem with all self-driving vehicles. I just want to be clear about that.
Now to a new video of a wayward Waymo in California, a self-driving car en route to drop off a passenger taking a wrong turn straight into an active fire scene in Hollywood, driving past road flares before eventually making a U-turn. Morgan Norwood is here with that story. Good morning, Morgan.
Hey, good morning to you, Will. A self-driving car and yet another situation it seemingly didn't quite know how to handle. We've got this new video out of Los Angeles showing the moment a Waymo stalled in the middle of that active fire scene. And this morning, it's raising new concerns about just how adaptive these autonomous cars really are. Take a look.
I don't know. That looks awfully sporty for a self-driving vehicle.
This morning, another wayward Waymo caught on camera, this time freezing in the middle of an active fire scene in Los Angeles for nearly 10 minutes.
Look at all the sensors on this thing. They got cameras and sensors here, cameras and sensors here, another camera here, same thing on both ends on the corners. Then they have all this, and it's probably all LiDAR. But man, I mean, the processing power that's got to be in those vehicles or wirelessly communicated to is insane. Yeah, that's actually a funny scenario for a comedy, Lilies, to have a bank robbers call a Waymo and get in it and drive away. But unfortunately, they probably could figure out which one it is and shut it down. Although from what I understand, I don't know what it's like in the UK, but I believe if the bill passed, this was during COVID and it slipped through real quietly. There was a bill that, while it wasn't directly worded that they could get into any car that has a computer with wireless communications and basically disable it in a car chase, the wording was vague enough to where the law could be applied that way. I don't know if that passed or not, but I remember that floating around about 2-3 years ago. All right, so let's, what is this? The robber's getting away. Mo! Oh, man. We're going kindergarten tonight.
All with a passenger in the back seat. The incident raising fresh questions about how these robo-taxis that claim to be the world's most trusted driver handle real-world chaos.
The Waymo driver will take care of you and keep you safe from point A to point B.
Witnesses say the car rolled past flares and took a wrong turn on LA's busy Melrose Avenue. Waymo.
Yeah, if any of you have ever been to LA, Melrose is insane. That's where there's like a lot of cool shops. So like if you want to get a look or buy a lot of tchotchkes or whatever for you know, like a cool background or your house. I remember going to Melrose when I was in bands or I work with bands. They'd always hit Melrose to get, like, you know, the latest belts, shirts, or fashion so that they would look cool and all that stuff. Anyway, let's get back to it.
Telling us the Waymo vehicle came to a complete stop and did not disturb the scene. The vehicle eventually made a U-turn and departed.
Waymo this way blocking traffic? Waymo that way? Oh my god, it's the double Waymo.
And this isn't the first time Waymo has turned itself around. Just last week in San Francisco, several Waymos stopping during a massive power outage. As traffic lights went dark throughout the city, the cars stalled and blocked traffic.
Yeah, so, you know, my dad was asking me about this. He's like, hey, did you hear about the Waymos just stopping during a power outage? And I was like, yeah, but I didn't until just now. I just realized something, because if they had their computing platform all inside the vehicles, power outage wouldn't affect them, right? They're all, even if they're electric vehicles or gas powered, obviously Waymo does not have the redundancy to handle a power outage. So maybe their data center kept running, but all the communications that they're using that are already existing in place, maybe the city didn't have redundancies. So I think what's happening is these cars are actually communicating with a data center remotely. I don't know if I like that. I would, I would feel way safer if all the decision making was being made inside the vehicle. So that way, you're kind of, buffered from whatever else is happening. But I guess not. Wow, that does not make me feel good. Let's see, what's this 07? Did you know the guys that left JBL and started Cali Audio? I'm a fan of their. Oh no, I don't. For audio engineering stuff, yeah, but JBL was kind of like a mid-sumer, prosumer level. And I know they made some like high-end stuff, but yeah, I didn't really use any JBL for like the high-end stuff. And by the time I got back into it, it was all plugins and all like virtual stuff. So in fact, I think I still have in my cabinet here, there's like a little device that's made by U Audio, and all the processing power's in it, and then you buy their plugins, and you can emulate like classic 60s vacuum tubes, tape saturation, so you can get like nice warm saturated sound. So when people like go, I don't like digital, I'm like, yeah, you've never mixed with like the new VSTs, because you can get all those new, well, not new, I mean, I'm talking like 10 years ago, but these plugins, like you could emulate all that stuff. Yeah, all those plugins that you can emulate some really good stuff with those. Oh, so Lily, getting back on topic here, you haven't seen a driverless vehicle yet? I haven't seen them out in my part in Colorado yet. I'm like a little north of Denver, so if they're there, I don't know. But we've also got, because Waymo's Google, there's Tesla, and then of course Uber is launching their driverless. But you know what? I think Tesla is probably going to take the cake eventually, and here's why. Because they already have the electric vehicles with the platform built into it, and it's just a software upgrade for them. But for like Waymo, they have to retrofit. They have to buy vehicles and retrofit them. So they don't have like the entire manufacturing process locked down at scale like Tesla does. And same thing with Uber. They have to convert vehicles. So I think Tesla will be able to scale way faster than any of these companies will. And for much less too. All right, so let's see. Let's get back to the report here. Man, these new buttons, I love it. I just push it, brings the browser up, and then I got a nice little button that just pauses and plays the video for me.
Then there's this incident in Austin last month. Video showing some Waymos making illegal maneuvers, one even passing a stopped school bus. The Austin School District says this happened at least 19 times since the start of the school year, some of them with children crossing behind the vehicle, prompting Waymo to tap the brakes on some of the software in their self-driving vehicles.
And as for that incident in Austin, thankfully no one was injured, but Waymo says it quickly rolled out a fresh software update for its vehicles. That was completed last month. Its driverless cars remain.
It's the new improved Waymo that won't kill you this way, but maybe that way. Don't, I'm telling you, man, don't trust these things. We're still a long ways off before they're totally 100% safe, but we'll get there. We'll get there. All right. Let's see. I think I have another. Oh, yes. Okay. So let's look at the other side of the situation. Oh, dang it. I closed the tab. Hold on. Let me get this. I got a little too excited. My thumb twitched. Let's get me back here. There we go. Open that back up. Okay. I'm ready now. So, all right. So we have driverless taxis, but now we have a police department experimenting with driverless police vehicles. How about that? Well, hey, Batty, welcome. Thanks for coming out tonight. All right, let's get to the driverless police vehicle. Because curiously, I'm like, why would you even want a driverless police vehicle? You know, how are you going to enforce certain things. So anyway, let's watch a video.
Police will be out in force tonight as people celebrate the new year. Police will be out in force tonight as people celebrate the new year. But one day, there might not be an officer behind the wheel of a cruiser. One department in Florida is already testing out the new self-driving technology, part of a first-in-the-nation pilot program. Chris Van Cleave has more.
Hold on. I got to mute that.
Of the future
There we
showing
go.
up behind you one day. The Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office is testing the nation's first self-driving patrol car.
You'd need 20 deputies to do everything this vehicle is doing.
Sheriff Rose.
Okay. So is it replacing a clown car? I never seen a police car with 20 deputies. But anyway, I'm pausing for fair use, and I'm transforming this work with my commentary YouTube.
Rosie Cordero-Stutz says that's because in a year it can log about the same number of uninterrupted patrol hours as all those deputies combined.
Does this replace a deputy on the street?
This does not replace a deputy. This augments our ability to serve our community.
So it's not quite RoboCop.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, so, okay, so what percentage of policing is just driving around and looking like you're there? Once the people figure out that nobody's in the vehicle, well, what are they going to do? How are they going to enforce anything? I don't know. Yeah, it scares people. But like I said, once they figure it out, even with a mannequin baddie, I don't know. If they could have the mannequin go like this, maybe you got something. or takes the gun out and goes tap, tap, tap. Okay, let's get back to it.
This is really what I believe, the integration of technology into law enforcement, what we will see as the future.
Let me guess. We're not replacing jobs. We're collaborating.
Of law enforcement across this country.
It made a dramatic entrance at its unveiling this fall. They call it PUG, short for Police Unmanned Ground. It comes equipped with all the technology needed to operate as a self-driving car, as well as thermal imaging, 360-degree cameras, and its own drone that can act as
Oh, get out of here. Get out of here. Dude.
an eye in the sky, all sent back live to a police command center. Soon, it'll be equipped with license plate readers and a way for the public to contact live deputies. PUG was built and donated by the nonprofit Policing Lab.
This is a self-driving police car.
It is. Right now, the vehicle's operating itself.
It took us and Policing Lab managing partner Sean Malinowski for a drive.
The promise of this technology is that you can use an autonomous vehicle now to give you presence in the community. So we know police presence deters crime.
So is this like, hey Siri, go police?
So there you go. There you go. Just the deterrence of it being there.
No, I think we're going to want to have a little more control on it than that.
For now, the cruiser, that while free to the sheriff's office would cost upwards of $200,000, will have a deputy on board acting as a safety driver. It's intended to operate on a pre-programmed patrol route and will eventually operate unmanned.
First thing that went through my mind is, how does a self-driving police car pull me over? Like if I'm speeding, what happens?
Well, it's not going to pull you over. We still need actual live deputies for that to happen. But what it will do is document the entire process. People recognize that this is a patrol vehicle. When you see a patrol vehicle in your rearview mirror, you slow down.
And make the sheriff's presence known around town with or without a deputy behind the wheel. For CBS Morning.
I'm installing a rear camera in my vehicle with infrared so I can see if anything's in there.
I'm Chris Van Cleave in Miami.
All right, thoughts?
I mean, so I like this in some respects because I know I always pump the brakes when I see a police car,
Sure.
so that could be good. But my dad was a police officer, and I'm thinking exactly what he's probably thinking watching this: the liability if something goes wrong.
Right, because they're
with
not
this.
supposed to. Waymos are not supposed to break the law, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
if they've
But
got to
also
go,
the jobs that this could be replacing possibly, the police departments could be hiring more officers.
they should.
Yeah.
I mean, pump those.
Yeah. I don't know, Lily. Maybe it won't be stopping at the donut shop, but maybe it could deliver or serve them. with some coffee. I don't know. That could be a good public relations thing. All right. So yeah, there you go. I mean, we were going to get there eventually. We all know that, but it's crazy that when that drone came out of there on the tether, that was, wow, that's a bit much. All right. Let's take a break here. Just a quick reminder. If you want to send in you want to interact with the 8-Ball Oracle, there's the command there at the bottom of your screen. Bang 8-Ball space followed by your question. And of course, if you want to interact with the Hail 9000, the command is down there for you. Bang H9 space followed by your question. No quotes, no emojis. All right. Yeah, all the CCTV cams they put everywhere. Replace putting people on patrol. Yeah, Lily, you could probably talk a little about that. I know the UK's had closed circuit television patrols and monitoring. Certainly in London, I don't know about everywhere else, but I've seen that reported on quite a few times. I remember, this is again kind of getting back to training AI and it not recognizing the situation. I remember there was some AI deployed through these CCTVs over there, and they were looking for known terroristas, let's just say. And a gentleman came out of a train station, and it was a van, I guess, with officers in it. Saw a guy come out because the system said, hey, that's like the big baddie, go and yoink him. So they jump out of the van, they yoink the guy, pull him in there. Turns out wasn't the right guy. Like, oh, sorry, sir, we'll let you go. Hours later, another guy comes out. That's the guy, get him. They yoink him, not him. And what ended up happening is the AI they were using was only trained on Caucasian and Asian faces. It didn't know Pakistani or Afghani faces very well, or black faces. Or over there, you say black, you mean basically everybody that's like dark skin. But here, I mean like African-American black. So yeah, it wasn't trained on those, and it was giving false positives. So a lot of people go, oh, the AI is racist. No, it just doesn't know how to differentiate. It had bias towards something that it didn't. It made guesses towards a bias that was not in the favor of the people that were supposedly fitting a description. So actually, I think there was a documentary on that. Actually, really quick, let me ask ChatGPT about that. We'll see. What was a documentary that came out about 4 or 5 years ago about AI and faces not being recognized across different ethnicities? Whoops, and I just canceled that. What was a documentary that came out about 4 or 5 years ago about AI not recognizing certain faces of different ethnicities? And I like how it takes out my filler words. Makes me sound smarter. Yeah, coded bias. Yeah. Let me see if I can find that for y'all. Just give me 1 second. It was a good documentary. I didn't agree with the premise of the lady that was claiming that the AI was racist. But this was fairly early on in the days of AI in the news, or people hadn't even heard of ChatGPT at that time. I think it came out in 2020. Let me just find this real quick to give you. Yeah, it came out in 2020. Here we go. ChatGPT. There you go. So this is the lady who basically discovered the problem. I think she was like an MIT researcher, Joy Bawalawini. Sorry, I butchered that. So yeah, and here's the poster if you wanna. But it was actually really good. I enjoyed it. I thought besides the obvious political bias, ironically being called coded bias, it was a good documentary, and it really gives you a good insight into why training AI is very difficult, and another reason why Waymo just blasted through all those different situations. Although recognizing faces is a much simpler scenario, it still can be very difficult. Okay, it's gotten good over the years, but very early days, that was one of the reasons why, because the engineers that were working on the software were Caucasian or Asian, so in majority numbers. Okay, let's see here. Oh, you see them often. So you mean the CCTVs? Yeah, do they make it against the law to wear hoodies to cover your head and wear sunglasses and stuff like that? Because my first inclination is to just hide my identity, like wear infrared glasses with a little that send out infrared so they can't see your eyes and recognize your eyes and your nose. Yeah, Batty, that's all part of China has drones up and down the street training facial recognition. That's all part of their social scoring system. There's another documentary about that. Actually, let's ask ChatGPT about that. What was the documentary that talks about China's social score and AI and how it's implemented? I believe this came out about 2-3 years ago. Yeah, that was Total Trust. Yeah, I think that's the one. The subject is a deep, human-focused documentary exploring China's pervasive surveillance state, including biometric tracking, facial recognition cameras, censorship, community reporting, and social control mechanisms, often associated with the social credit system. Yeah, because I remember one thing that they had in the documentary is they showed somebody jaywalking, and the facial recognition saw them and then basically put their name and identity up on this big screen in the square they were in, basically as a shaming tactic. And of course, deducting their points off their social score. So yeah. And I know that the left here has been absolutely salivating over that. They would love to have that. Because I remember there were some things coming through Congress during the cough through the last administration that was going to make that a lot easier to implement. But I don't, honestly, if the past proves to be anything like it is, or like it has been, people will just give up, for security, safety, and for the children, they'll give up their rights and their privacy for fancy technology. Because like with the terms of service that nobody ever reads when they sign up for free email on Gmail and use all the suites, which reminds me of another documentary. Hold on here. What's the documentary that came out, I think about 10 years ago, that talks about the terms of service and that people are giving away their privacy rights, and it predominantly focused on Google, I believe. Just trying to educate you. Yeah, 2013. Terms and conditions may apply. I'd strongly recommend if you guys can get your hands on that, because this is why I always talk about how people freak out about, the AIs are, the algorithms are taking control, and why I always say, no, the algorithms are already here. They were here before AI, and they've already been controlling us and influencing us. And the seeds of that are from you'll see in this documentary. And a lot of that was just like, yeah, of course I'll take your free shit. But I don't, privacy, what's that? Who cares? And they've been using your data to train their AIs all those years. Google specifically, but Facebook too. The activity on their timelines and stuff. So yeah, very, very, very good documentary. Let me see if I'll find the poster for that, because I strongly recommend that you all watch that. Yep, this is the one. Terms and conditions apply. I want the poster. I don't want your ugly thing. Oh, I guess that was a poster. But yeah, you could probably get it on Amazon Prime if you have it. Maybe Netflix. Or if you sail the high seas, I'm sure you could find it too. Wink, wink. All right. So let me queue up the next thing here. Let's see, we'll go through the chat here, see what we got. So it's not illegal to wear balaclavas and stuff like that, or wear hoodies. I mean, everybody looks like Banksy walking around in London if they did that. Let's see. Yeah, Batty. Amazing how the EU, they seem to have a two-tier law enforcement and use it against ones with the birthright. So I think you're talking about more specifically the UK throwing people in jail for even just sharing memes, let alone just being, you know, a grumpy old man just talking shit. Just talking about the way he used to talk in the 80s. Yeah, Lily, if you can let me know what that episode's called. I haven't watched South Park in years. In fact, I barely watched any of it. I remember how South Park got started. When I was working at IBM in the mid 90s, Matt Stone, I think, and the other guy, I know I got the names wrong, but those guys, they made a Christmas card, an animated Christmas card, and they mail it out to all their people that they knew in Hollywood. And it went so viral in how things could go viral back then that everybody was forwarding it around in the email. And they got signed to Comedy Central to make the cartoon because of that that Christmas card. And it was foul. It was foul. So I don't know if I could play it on or find it on YouTube, let alone play it on here. But it was very offensive. Entertaining but offensive. Oh, you think so? You think Keir's next after Maduro? I don't know about that. But yeah, I saw that there's like a MIGA, Make Ireland Great Again, with the green hats, and Rosie O'Donnell was getting all freaked out over that because she like uprooted her whole life and went over there to Ireland to her roots, and only to be met with the same. You just got to learn to get along, lady. That's all. Your opinion sucks and everybody knows it. I'm sorry. Okay. Now I don't want to make this about politics, but you suck. Okay. Let me get back to some nostalgia here. Yeah, I'm not going to show that one, Lily, but I agree. She checks off one of the boxes. Let's just say that. All right, let's get a palate cleanser and do some nostalgia. So I found this video from a newscast about high tech or computers and gadgets in 1994. So I just kind of want to see what they gather here. I mean, obviously we have AOL here. And if you're old enough to remember, this is how we got floppy disks. Because floppy disks were the SSDs or the flash drives of the day, and they were expensive. And you couldn't just buy one for cheap. Yeah, if you wanted a good price, you had to buy like 20 of them in a box. And yeah, it was a lot of money when you're in college. So what you do is you call the 1-800, AOL free or whatever the number was, and give them your address, and they would mail you a floppy disk. And then we would just erase the floppy disk and use it. All right, let's see. Here we go. Fair use, YouTube. Modems. Pagers. The thing about this pager, I had this, and this is not like the early page. This is like the peak. This is peak pager right here, where they could actually send you a text message with canned responses that you would select. So they go A, yes, B, no, C, F you.
12:49 and 15 seconds.
It wasn't that long ago that if you had talked about virtual reality or modems or faxes or CD-ROMs, people would have looked at you as if you'd just landed from Mars. But now, technology has invaded every corner of our lives.
For those of you, that right there is actually a CD-ROM drive. And so this is actually, that was a cassette that you put the disc in, and that was for people that reused a lot of media. So it wasn't necessarily for music, but it was, say, for like an attorney had a whole library and you didn't want to get your fingerprints on the CD, so you put it in those cassettes, and then you would put the cassettes on your shelf and then just pull the cassette and then slip it in this drive. So yeah, this is like for super high use CD-ROMs. Yeah, Rolodex. PDA. I can see you through the bedroom window.
Encyclopedia. Now with CD-ROM on your computer, there's Teddy himself with pictures.
Let me back that up, because you need the visual effect for that.
Now you can carry or have your home computer store phone numbers and even dial the phone for you.
There you go.
If you wanted to find out about, say, Teddy Roosevelt, you used to look in the encyclopedia. Now with CD-ROM on your computer, there's Teddy himself with pictures and words.
And a fair deal for every man and every woman.
Speak softly, carry a big stick.
And if you always wrote your appointments down in a book, now there's the Personal Digital Assistant, or PDA, like Apple's Newton. It has a pager to receive data. It gets messages from the office and more.
Yeah, the Newton was an utter failure. It overheated and cracked. And this is classic Silicon Valley. They denied it and they said, oh, that's a feature. It's designed to automatically expand to expel heat. I remember that. Classic. All right.
4 times a day, I get daily updates on world news, sports news, entertainment, business news.
The size of that thing.
It recognizes your handwriting. It even sends faxes.
Will it go get coffee or pick up lunch for you?
No, but it does have an alarm and it will wake you up. I could actually circle this, or if I wanted to.
That's so useful to circle that. I'm so glad you could circle that.
Go into dates.
And what about all the changes in home entertainment? Remember these? 8 tracks? Obsolete. And for you younger members of the audience,
don't throw that.
This is called...
Get your fingers off that. Oh, that always drove me crazy.
A record.
Oh, okay, here we go. Tower Records. Let's finish this. This is actually this is a news report from the town I grew up in, San Diego, California. And Tower Records was huge down there. But anyway, let's finish this. I love Tower Records for reasons. Anyway, stores suck for this very reason why Tower Records was awesome.
Go to a record store these days. Can you find any records?
Records. You mean the...
That's the Mission Valley one.
Black things with the holes in the middle?
Actually, they have a few records for dance clubs and mobile DJs, but CDs have just about replaced the record, and they're about to replace cassettes as well.
Well, I would say within the next 2 years, cassettes, be back there with your 8 tracks.
And now you can get movies on 5-inch CDs with features.
All right, so Tower Records. What I loved about Tower Records is they had, at least in Southern California or San Diego, because they had them up in LA too. And by the late 90s, they expanded quite a bit. I don't know if they were nationwide, but they were all over California. Anyway, in San Diego, they had about, I think like 5 or 6 of them. But every location had a specialist. So if you wanted classical music, if you were into classical music, it was known that you would go to one particular location to talk to the classical music specialist. They'd usually have one or two, and they knew everything about every record that had classical music. And it was literally like, because this is before search engines and Wikipedia, where you go, okay, well, I like Beethoven's Fifth. What would be something that was influenced by that, by another artist, say, in this other period, or they would just offer that information up without even, you asking. And before you know it, you walk out that damn store with 10 records. But that's what I liked about it. So they had the one store that I liked had the electronic music specialist. And electronic music does not mean the same thing today as it meant back then. This is more like, actually they called it new age music. So this would be more like Vangelis, Tangerine Dream, Tesco, or not Tesco, that's the store. Anyway, you probably don't even know what these artists are, but they all had like all these synthesizers, and it was all electronic. And I'd go in there and I'd say, yeah, I like Brian Eno. You would know Brian Eno. That's actually how I discovered a lot of other artists, where a lot of people, the specialists knew about Brian Eno and all the artists that were influenced by him. And I discovered a lot of other incredible electronic musicians in that time because of those specialists. Now you go into a record store. Oh, wait, there aren't any. But like, if you just go into any store at all, nobody knows what the fuck is going on in the store. All they know is like where to put the eggs. And even then it's like, they can't tell you like what to do with the eggs or recommend anything, it's sad. Everything's gone like big box bland. Yeah. Anyway, so I miss those days. I miss being able to go into a store and get, some semblance of customer support or some like level of expertise. Like you go into Best Buy today. Best Buy, most of the people in there don't know what the hell's going on. It's an electronics store. For those of you that aren't in the States, they sell everything electronics related, stereos, televisions, smartphones, you name it. Very rarely does anybody know what the hell's going on with any of the technology in there. So, yeah. Yes, Night Owl. Risky Business was a classic movie with a classic movie track. Love on a Train, one of my favorite Tangerine Dream tracks. Yeah, they did use the Dewey Decimal System for records in libraries, Batty. If you ever went to a library that had a very good record collection, yeah, Dewey all day, baby. Oh, so you did have Tower Records on Oxford Street. Assuming that's a very popular high street that you may have frequented, may or may not have frequented. Yeah. All right, so we're all caught up in the chat. Let's get back to the documentary here, or our nostalgia. So yes, our DVDs, CD-ROMs. I remember the first time the first DVD I bought was in the year 2000, and it was Gladiator. And I remember the gal that I was dating at the time, there was, this is the difference between watching a movie on VHS and on DVD. There was like all this like talking in a corridor, and I was getting bored, and I was like, enough love play, on to the fighting. And I just like randomly click fast forward, and it skipped to like this big battle scene. And I was like, yeah. And my date was like giving me a super dirty look. And I was like, yeah, I don't care. And then the first time I showed my parents DVD, I showed them the Gladiator movie, and they were like, oh, wow, the quality and everything. And then I pulled the disc out, and my mom's like, wait, you got to rewind it. So yeah, just the changes that they brought is always kind of funny. But anyway, let's get back to the video.
Features that allow you to select any part of the movie you want. The Ryan briefing? Sure.
Come on, this is no longer a research project.
You know, I miss features. I miss all the like features on the DVD. That was the main reason why I bought them. And then when I started to learn how to sail the high seas, and Netflix was mailing the discs before they got into streaming, I made sure I got them features.
San Diego is a frequent test market for the very latest in home electronics.
More and more manufacturers around the world are coming to San Diego because of the demographics that we have here and just the nature of the market itself.
We got a sneak preview of Starsight. It'll come out this fall, an on-screen TV program guide. It gives program listings and summaries. It also lists shows by themes: movies, news, comedies, sports.
Man, that hurts my eyes. What is Lily saying here? Oh, she used to get fined for not rewinding. Yeah, Be Kind, Rewind, right? At Blockbuster. Yeah, Blockbuster, again, that's another example of where corporate and shitification just wrecked everything. Because I remember there were just tons of mom and pop video stores. And you go in there and there'd always be like a funky smell, or the decorations would be like totally weird and different because they just had a different vibe, because they were all, owner run and operated. But there'd always be somebody behind the counter that absolutely loved cinema. And they a lot of times you'd buy something, they're like, really? Really? You want to watch this? Really? You get like dirty looks. Or they'd say, you know what, if you like this, you would like this. So yeah, I just kind of miss those days. And with Blockbuster, you didn't really get that. And then because I remember the mom and pop stores, you could get they'd have like the 99-cent videos or $1 or whatever. And Blockbuster would just charge you, what was it, like $3.85 for whatever. Although the advantage was, as you went in there, they were very likely to have what you wanted to see. That was the drawback of the mom and pop. They didn't have the stock or the inventory, but you had the character and you had the fun and just going down the aisles and just the ambiance is so different. Instead of all the bright lights and the light and the fluorescence and the blue and the yellow, it's too much. Didn't like it. Yeah, smelled like hot dogs and old carpets. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Burnt popcorn and melted butter. Yeah, those independents. It was the best. I hope we see a resurgence of mom and pop because, I've been thinking a lot about this lately. This is a little bit of an interlude just to give my brain a rest. A lot about using AI as a not just a content creator, but as a software developer, because the last couple of years, the corporations, they've been doing this whole thing where their whole philosophy is we got to replace as many people as possible, better, faster, cheaper kind of thing. And all the stuff that I've been doing, it's been human plus AI. And the quality that I'm getting, where it's the human plus AI, instead of trying to have the AI automate, I'll try that again. Having the AI automate everything it's just not as good. And so a lot of these corporations, that's why, and I've talked about this before, the vast majority of their projects, once they get past the pilot phase, have been dismal failures. They lost a ton of money. It didn't make their money back. And I think this is why. They're not thinking of how to keep the human in the loop. And when I say human, I don't mean the customer. I mean the employee. I mean the people that should be there, ensuring that the AIs are, orchestrating them, making sure they're making the right decisions in there, so that there's that emotional intelligence or just empathy when something, somebody has a situation, and maybe a little bit of human empathy goes a long way towards customer support, right? And, I could tell you how many times where I call and I get a human and I'm like, oh, it's my situation. And they're like, oh, don't worry, sugar. I'll help you. I'll fix this for you. Where an AI, it's an edge case, and the AI is not going to know the difference between the Seek with the turbine coming out between the cars and the dude that has the tinfoil turkey. You know what I'm saying? That's that's where I think that where you and I are going to win in this shit is that convincing these employers or showing them, or even building our own businesses where it's all about AI plus human, not replace human. Anyway, that's my rant. Oh, you like that, sugar? Sugar? I could feel a hand wave through the phone, Night Owl. I could hear it in the voice. Let's see. Oh, it's getting back to Blockbuster here. Lily says the 3 for 2 deal at Blockbuster was a 2-hour time waster to find the third film. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's sort of like you have all this choice and you can't make a choice. That was also part of it too. You think it was a life or death situation to pick that third one, that third free one. Yeah, I don't know. I had a love-hate relationship with Blockbuster, but I like the idea of video rental. But when streaming came out, I took to it like a duck to water. I really do like streaming because it kind of blends the idea of you can watch it anytime you want, in the comfort of your home. Start it, stop it, whatever. I mean, you could do that with VHS and you could do that with DVD, but with streaming, you could completely shut it down, do something else, and come back and it would still be there. So that was kind of like the next extra thing to it. But, even that, like corporate and shitification from that is coming fast and hard because we had big tech basically come in and just bowl over Hollywood. I mean, a lot of it, they did a lot of it to themselves. I won't get into all of that. But as far as big tech just not having to deal with unions and being able to throw hundreds of millions of dollars per episode of a TV show like Stranger Things and not really care because they don't have to deal with splitting the tickets. They own the distribution. They own the property. The copyright, all that in total control. And now, I don't know what happened, but I know that they were on the verge of actually acquiring Warner Brothers. I don't know if that went through or not, but if that happens, I think that's going to be very bad. Not necessarily for Hollywood, but for entertainment, because Netflix has definitely demonstrated that A, they don't like movie theaters for distribution, and B, they don't really like, or they don't respect filmmaking. They don't respect the art of storytelling and cinematography. To them, it's just content to be shoved out at scale. And that's the one thing that I don't like about the streaming. It was one thing when you could go on and stream Terminator and Alien and stuff like that, but that's not what they've gone out and made. And the closest thing that I've seen to a streaming service actually respecting cinema and filmmaking and storytelling, it skates a line, and that's Apple TV. I don't agree with their politics, and some of their shows, they're pretty woke, but they have made some pretty good movies, and they've made some pretty good science fiction, some other TV shows that I really enjoy, because they want to tell the story first, most of the time. And I don't know, maybe we might start to see where it's going to be Netflix winning Academy Awards and not the actors, not the filmmakers, because they're going to start going into full AI mode because they acquired another company, name slipping me at the moment, but the core technology that they have will basically make it so that if you've ever used like Nano Banana, where you give it an image and say, hey, take my face and then put me in this costume. But now in video, they could basically say, okay, now we own, because they own Warner Brothers, now you can put yourself in Christopher Nolan's Batman. You are the Batman, or you are Joker, or maybe you're both. That I don't think I would want that. That serves its purpose, but I don't think I'd want to. I don't think I'd want to pay for that and have that as like a source of entertainment. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think, chat? Is that something that you would be cool with? I don't know. All right. I'm going to go back to the video here. That was a side rant. Hopefully you got something from that. Let's continue on here with the retro computers and gadgets from 1994. Fair use, YouTube.
If you're a basketball fan, you want to see what basketball games you're on.
Sure. I go to sports, I go down to basketball, and here are all the basketball-related programs.
This will eventually be included in some TV sets and VCRs when you buy them. And things we're already familiar with are getting smaller.
Watchmen.
3-inch color TV screen. And a combination TV set and VCR
Yeah, the smartphone wiped all that out.
that fits in your hand. Of course, we're all familiar with portable cellular phones. You've all seen phones like this.
Oh, I'm totally familiar with that one.
Did you ever think they'd get this small? Camcorders are smaller, and now you can use them with your computers.
The computer graphics are overlaid on the live video on the camera.
You want a small computer? Well, you've heard of laptops. This is a palm top. A little hard to type on, but it does a lot.
Almost anything you can use a regular PC for, other than maybe big graphics programs, you could do on this.
And if you think you have the very latest in computers, just wait a little.
A computer that you buy today will likely be obsolete 6 months from now, and there's not a dang thing that you can do about it.
Yeah, that's true. That happens with the smartphones. But I don't know. I think the apps are so good now, you don't even notice until it starts to slow down on you.
Keeping up is hard to do.
CAD. Yeah. I don't know what this is.
It's the wave of the future, and San Diego is riding the wave. San Diego.
I was just going to say, I bet you this is all about the convention center because that was about the time I think they opened it. Yeah.
San Diego is becoming a high-tech and software center. There are close to 200 software development companies here, and virtual reality has become an actual reality.
Virtual reality is where you're immersed in a computer-generated environment.
Virtual reality
Peter
was displayed
Gabriel
at the
in the
San Diego
back.
Electronics Show for entertainment value, but it has more practical applications.
In architecture, where you could actually walk through buildings before they're built. You can have it in medicine, where you could have virtual surgery. Medical students, for instance, could practice on a virtual patient rather than an actual patient.
Kaiser Electro-Optics of Carlsbad makes the headset. Angel Studios of Carlsbad did the animation. Whoa, just slammed into a door. Didn't even hurt. San Diego has been a test market for interactive television.
Yeah, this is definitely a promotion for the convention center. They tried to make San Diego a tech hub. I remember that. I think Angel Studios, they made a lot of like really bad television. They made police procedurals. I don't know how broad they were distributed, but I remember catching them on, they did the Lawnmower Man graphics. That's right. That's right. Another really crappy movie.
Daniel's Cablevision has been offering a service that lets you tell your TV what you want to see at any given moment. News, movie reviews, financial information. It has games you play against other people on the system, and you can go shopping or pay your bills. As for home computers, San Diego is one of the most computer literate areas in the country, and we see it all here. Multimedia is the hot item now. CD-ROMs like Cinemania, which not only have movie reviews and pictures.
Wow. Sorry, it's the nerd in me. I got to look at that PC there. That's so funny. That case was like one of the generic cases that I built tons of computers in at Byte and Floppy. There's the floppy drive for 5 1/4 inch, 3 1/2 inch floppy, the ones that AOL sent you, and then the cassette CD-ROM player. Yeah, crazy. And I think that was a turbo button that supposedly made your computer clock speed faster. Oh, you think that's a 486DX07? Could be. That's about the right era. What is it? 4 megabytes, 4 megabytes of RAM. And, I don't even remember what the clock speed was back then. Yeah. The lock key was for, preventing people from using the keyboard. They could still turn it on and turn it off. So wreck your backup or whatever. Yeah. It's just weird to see that. I used that case so many times. And then the mom and pop stores, they had these stickers they would put in there for their logo. All right. Anyway.
Not only have movie reviews and pictures, but actual scenes from movies like Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Yeah, that's breaking a copyright.
I have to, and I'm not gonna.
It's the sort of thing that you really can't do any other way. You can have a book of movie reviews and a book of movie stills and so on, but to put it all together like this is really unique to multimedia computing.
The San Diego Zoo has a CD-ROM. Choose an animal and watch.
That's what we're here for, to make their day better.
And there are the online services, computer bulletin boards, where you can converse with people you've never met.
Yeah, I was just going to say missed
Now, if you just
07.
figured out how
Yeah.
to program your VCR, all this technology can be a bit too much.
Oh, nope. We can't play that music. That's from 2010, A Space Odyssey.
Oh, that happened years ago. That happened years ago. We're overwhelmed by it.
The future has arrived.
Open the pod bay doors, Hal.
I'm sorry, Dave.
I'm afraid I can't do that.
In 2001, there was a talking computer named Hal. In 1994, there's a computer that talks to Hal, or anyone else.
Welcome to Macintosh.
Thank you. The Apple Mac Quadra responds to voice commands or questions. Computer, what time is it?
Yeah, back in those days, it took a long time. You had to train the computer to recognize your voice. I used, I think it was called Dragon something. It was, and I think that company actually was in San Diego as well. And when I worked at IBM, I guess the word got around that I had done audio engineering and I studied music in college. And there was a gentleman who was a paraplegic. He was a coder. And he got a new computer. And the way he did his job before, he literally had somebody sit next to him and he'd say, okay, I want you to type this. And, you know, and the guy did the typing for him. And I installed the Dragon software that overlaid on top of his coding software. And it took about an hour where I just sat there and I had him like read all these phrases. You know, the brown fox jumps over the white fence with the green hills and all that stuff. And man, once we got that thing going, and like even back in like 1990, what was it, 95? Yeah, the smile on that guy's face, I'll never forget that. He's like, I'm independent, I'm free. It was really cool. But yeah, we had that back then, but it was a mammoth effort to train the computer, and it slowed the computer down so hard. But now with the AI, the voice recognition, it just anybody can walk in the room and talk to your computer, which I don't know if I like that either. But anyway, we'll get back to the video here.
12:47 and 14 seconds.
That's right. Computer, open calculator.
Yeah, that's how he did it. He's like,
If it's
computer,
all a
open
bit
this.
Much, some advice from the experts. Learn about computers before you buy one.
The wrong thing to do is just go out and buy a computer and then learn about it. You'll learn, but you'll learn a lot of things that maybe you didn't want to learn.
I don't know. I think he was talking about corn.
The technology's not getting easier. It's getting more complicated.
There is hope, and the power and the things you can do with a computer today are so much better that ultimately it's worth it.
And on the horizon, talk of 500 channels on your TV, video, movies on demand, information superhighways with everything at your fingertips. Here it comes, ready or not.
So, we live in that world today, chat. What do you think? Are you liking it? Is it a better world? Oh boy, did they not know about the terms of service back then? Okay, let me see if we got anybody. I don't think anybody sent anything to the AIs, did you? No, I don't see anything. All right, well, I won't bring them up then. Yeah, it was. It was 07. Dating was much easier back then. I know the girlfriend that I had in college, she only dated me because there wasn't social media. There was nobody. She had no other choice. Oh, man. Okay, let's see. Just gotta find my my tabs here. Just give me one moment. Okay, so let's talk about one more thing here. Found another video where I've seen pop up in the news quite a bit. It's been called different things. Price surging, price fixing. But it's interesting because price surging is where they adjust the price based on attributes of the customer, right? And they're using AI to do it. So I've got this news report on, it's called How AI is Making Everything More Expensive. So what they'll do is they'll change your price based on demand. So like, for example, if it gets hot, they know people are going to buy more water. So they'll increase the price of water by 5 cents or whatever. But where I have a question, because my understanding is I thought it was illegal to change price based on physical attributes of your customer, so to speak. So, obviously you can't say, oh, because you're white, you pay the white price like that. But let's just extend it out to, well, you're 6 feet tall, you got to pay the 6 foot plus price. Where do you draw the line? Right? So let's watch this news report and see how far they've gotten with this. I know Walmart was talking about doing it. Yeah, this is right. 07, they'll know your disposable income too, especially if you use their apps. They can infer a lot of things on what you buy, when you buy it, weather patterns, all kinds of weird things that you wouldn't think that's unrelated. But see, you got to remember, AI is just a software program that solves a data problem. And that data problem is, where's Waldo? Find the pattern. Where's the Waldo pattern? And it's very good at it. And it can do it at such a scale and such a level of complexity that our human minds can't even grasp it. So let's stop. Everybody stop talking. No, I'm just kidding. I'm the one that's talking. Let's get back to the video here and watch this news report.
Corporate greed is reaching unimaginable levels. Studies show that companies are using AI to set personalized prices according to each person's profile.
Companies.
Yeah, so what is profile? That's the gray line.
May be using your data against you. Shocker. It is called surveillance pricing, and that is when a company sets...
Yeah, that was the other term, surveillance pricing. But also, too, these price tags, I know that Kohl's, which is a clothing store place here, and also where you can return your Amazon purchases free of charge, they have these tags, and they'll literally like change the price as a sale goes down and their inventory changes to affect demand based on their supply. So I've seen that. That's not AI driven necessarily. They've had that for 10 years at least. But these things, can you imagine you walk by these price tags and somehow your app is open? I'm almost thinking of just turning off my Walmart app when I go into Walmart now. It knows you're in there and it goes, oh, here comes Jacob, 59 cents, 75 cents, or $2.99 for Slim Jims, because we know he's got a hankering for the processed beefs. But yeah, so they're doing it over there as well, Lily. Cool. Thanks for updating me. So let's see. 07 says that the UN 17 SDGs equity is what it's all about. So they've already got some like kind of international, I don't want to say law, but advice on how you should structure your laws. Is that what you're saying? I should look that up. I'll put that in the AI in a bit. Yeah, that's one way to put it, Batty. Yeah, scan your shoes to see if you're wearing Lucci loafers. But I know that the AI that they've used at Walmart checkouts, the self-checkout, is deceptively way more complicated than you realize. They're watching your body movements, what you're doing, coming and going in the store, how you come in, how you leave, all kinds of stuff. Not just for price surging, but also for what's the technical term they use to prevent stealing? I forgot what they call it. Yeah, they look in the parking lot, see what car you're driving. Pull up in a jalopy, walking with a broken arm and limp. All right, so let's get back to it. I got excited. I'm sorry, I do that. Oh, wait, it's muted. My apologies. Back it up a little bit there.
The price you see based on your unique habits and demographics.
A McKinsey study estimated that AI-based pricing systems can increase a company's revenue by up to 15%.
We found big retailers with little regional competition can extract large profits simply by adjusting prices of essential goods like food items.
Likewise, investigations by Consumer Reports detected differences of up to 116% in the price of the same online product, depending on the...
Yeah, Amazon's the one that's been doing this for years. I'll buy something and then I come back and I'll order it again. It'll be more every time. Not by a little bit, but you know, $1, $2. I've seen that all the time, and it's from the same supplier. So yeah, and we all know how friendly Amazon is with AI these days. All right.
Buyer's zip code.
Surveillance pricing. That's when companies use someone's personal data, like browsing, even credit history, to sell them a product at a different price than what other consumers might see.
An independent analysis revealed that Uber can charge up to 6% more when the user's phone battery is below 15%.
Uber.
You know what's going to happen. I can see it now already. Never mind battery going low. None of that shit. We're talking people driving to the ghetto to do their grocery shopping. Reverse gentrification. I'm going to name it now. Reverse gentrification. You're going to have all these people come from like the affluent areas and go to the ghetto areas to do all their shopping, or, you know, steal from people's carts over there. I'm calling it now. All right, let's get back to it.
Is in the spotlight as the company faces accusations from a Belgian newspaper that it can see riders' phone battery levels and changes rider fares based off of that information.
Even in airline tickets, a report by the Wall Street Journal documented that some airlines achieved up to a 20% increase in annual revenue after implementing AI-based dynamic pricing systems.
Next time you go online to purchase an airline ticket, there's a chance that the price you see was influenced by artificial intelligence.
So how companies are using...
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. But airlines have been doing that kind of stuff with other algorithms way before AI. So that's nothing new. This has been around since e-commerce was on the web, honestly. But AI just scales it up. It makes it more complicated, more subtle, so that you can affect more users at the most optimal level for profit. That's the difference this time around. Let's see. Oh, this one got you guys going. Let's see here what we got in the chat. Let's see. For Amazon, take it out of the cart and put it back to change that price. Yeah, you know, that's actually something that I've done for all kinds of retailers. Well, I will put something in the shopping cart, and then I'll purposely leave the site and just leave it in the shopping cart and see if they have some kind of like funnel where they're like, hey, you left something in the cart. You know, yeah. Hey, don't forget. Yeah. Hey, here's a coupon. I'm like, I'll wait for the coupon. Or sometimes I'll just throw it in, what I do for Amazon. I'll put it in the cart, let it sit for a day or two if I don't really need it, and then I'll save it for later. And a lot of times when you go into the cart, yeah, you got it. You got it, 07. And sometimes that window where the price goes up $1, I don't think it's necessarily because of profiling. It's just because prices just fluctuate based on larger supply and demand complexities. So at least you get, like, when you go to the cart, it goes, hey, the price dropped, or hey, the price increased. You get that. And sometimes if you go in there, it'll tell you, hey, there's a coupon for this, because sometimes a retailer will just throw up a coupon, but it has nothing to do with the other method that I talked about. Yeah, there's also a plugin 207. I think it's called Camel, where you can actually see the history of the price on Amazon. Let me look that up real quick. Let's see if yeah, go back to the chat Gippities. And what is the browser plugin that gives you the price history in Amazon and other online retailers? I believe it's called Camel with a K. Oh, it's camel. It's 3 camels with a C. Yeah, so this will, you install that in your browser, which I'm sure you're probably giving them analytics and other things, but it'll give you a whole price history of a product on there. So you can see if they've really been heavily manipulating the price. And you can always like check for seasonal pricing as well. So that's something, if you really want to like go full mercenary on that stuff, I would recommend. Oh, Rufus? Oh, really? So their AI will tell you that. That's cool. I've been finding I've been using Rufus to find like paired products. So like I bought my my fill light, and I was like, yeah, what's the softbox that would like, because it has like, it's a different like a ring. I want to make sure that the ring was standard and stuff, and ended up recommending the same brand. But it was like, yeah, you're right. There's like different ring sizes. This is the one you want. So that's what I like about their AI on Amazon as well. Yeah, here we go. Batty's all about the what I call reverse gentrification, but what is he calling it? Yeah, give me 2 cans of corn and a Sprite. Black market food shopping, as he calls it. Oh, man. Yeah. Oh, here you go. I like this, Lily. Get homeless people to do your shopping. Not only can you have them get your nuts, but yes, it is nuts. I agree. Oh man. Yeah, this price surging thing is it's been going on online for a very long time. Nothing new there, but yeah, now they're just extending the same thing they've been doing to their brick and mortar, and which is, you know, not surprising, because there was a period of time in e-commerce where, for example, if I bought a book on the Barnes & Noble website, I could not take that book into any Barnes & Noble and return it, because they were literally separate businesses technologically. They weren't interconnected. The inventory wasn't connected at the cash register. The point of sales was totally different. And I think they were actually even different legal entities. But nowadays, you can take, you know, your Amazon products to a totally unrelated store and return it, as long as it's like part of like some network of whatever. So anyway, my point being is every store that has an online presence, their inventory and their point of sales in their brick and mortars, it's all integrated now. That is like common practice. So I'm surprised surge pricing in the stores and the brick and mortars hasn't come sooner, to be honest. Okay. Whoops.
Using AI to charge you more. The concept of dynamic pricing is not new. It dates back to the U.S. airline industry during the 1970s, when ticket prices were still regulated by the federal government. With the approval of the Airline Deregulation Act of 1978, airlines gained full freedom to set fares, and this transition opened the door to the creation of the first yield management systems.
On October 24th, 1978,
yield management.
President Carter signed the Airline Deregulation Act.
American Airlines developed one of the pioneering models, known
Don't get
as
me started
Dynamo,
on Carter.
which analyzed demand patterns and automatically adjusted the prices of available seats. By 1985, the company reported revenue increases between 6 and 8% solely thanks to these strategies. And by the end of the decade, almost all commercial airlines were applying similar mechanisms. This model was based on relatively simple but innovative principles for the time, raising prices as the plane filled up, increasing fares for those who purchased close to the flight date, and offering discounts only when occupancy needed to be stimulated.
And so just so you get an idea too, this would all be software driven, because back then you also had travel agents. You call up people and they would do all your booking and do all your tickets and all that stuff. So they knew when people were coming and going. So they had the data before all the e-commerce. That was one of the early industries that had that kind of level of understanding of their customer and the data sets to write all the software. And I don't know if they were really using algorithms to that degree yet. That would have been very computationally expensive and very difficult for a private company to do. Even with that kind of money, maybe not. But the software back then was very complicated, but there was no AI there, and there probably was not like algorithms doing this. They probably had people that where they had a formula and they would punch in numbers and then get the prices in real time, because they didn't have the websites to do all that. The travel agents would get the latest numbers by logging into the systems. I think it was called teletext or something that they were connected to. All right. Just a little history there for you.
The practice worked so well that by the 1990s, it expanded to the hotel sector, car rentals, and rail transport service. This consolidation reinforced the idea that prices should not be static, but should adapt to real-time demand. And major hotel chains still use this today.
Are you wondering why it's so expensive to stay at a hotel right now? What if I told you the rates that many hotels are charging are artificially inflated?
In the mid to late 1990s.
Yeah, it's because they broker. They don't sell anymore. It's like Priceline and all that stuff. They're the ones that bring in all the leads. So they got to mark up to recoup.
Hilton became one of the first chains to systematically adopt the dynamic pricing model inspired by airlines. By 1997, the chain was already using a centralized rate-setting system that compared projected occupancy, historical demand, and seasonal booking patterns in real time. The change had an immediate impact. According to corporate reports from the time, Hilton managed to increase its revenue per available room by nearly 6% annually for 3 consecutive years. It also reduced empty nights by approximately 12% in high-demand urban hotels, such as Los Angeles, Chicago, and New York. The principle was simple but powerful. If a hotel detected that 70% of its rooms were booked for a long weekend, the price rose automatically. Conversely, if projected occupancy fell below 40%, temporary discounts were activated. But this did not stop there. With the arrival of e-commerce in the mid-1990s.
All right, we'll pause there because we all know. Anyway, but it's at the point now where you go in the hotel and they know who you are. If you've stayed there before, you have a customer profile and everything. There's a guy on YouTube that I watch because I'm a homebody. I don't travel. So I live vicariously through him. And what he does is he goes to all kinds of different hotels in different areas, exotic to Vegas, whatever. And he'll tell you, oh yeah, the room's good. And he'll even like lift up the sheets and go, look, there's a bed cover. It's a little anal. I don't care about all that. But the point I'm getting at is that some of his reviews were not favorably looked upon by one particular chain. And now when he goes in there, they won't serve him. And it's not that they recognize him by face. His name comes up on the screen when he checks in. And they'll say, yeah, sorry, sir, we can't serve you. So yeah, I think it's the Hilton. It's the Hilton chain for him. But anyway, yeah, they have profiles. They have extensive papers. All right, so let's get into the e-commerce days.
A second phase of expansion began. Amazon, one of its pioneers, began experimenting with price variations based on browsing data, search history, and user behavior.
If you're familiar with Uber, you're probably familiar with the term surge pricing. But a new report claims that Amazon may use surge pricing as well.
In the year 2000, for example, specific cases became public showing how the same DVD could be sold with a 6% markup to one customer and not to another. Afterward, the company described these price differences as controlled tests. However, these experiments demonstrated something crucial. Digital commerce made it possible to modify prices automatically, individually, and
stock trading. What do they
without the consumer noticing. Between 2000 and 2010, the massive collection of data such
Okay, 07, what operating system is that? I know you know what that is. and that's CSS code, by the way.
as cookies, IP location, and purchase frequency transformed how online retailers tracked consumers. Using this information, they developed models that adjusted prices based on each user's estimated.
No, not the coding language, the operating system. It was Windows XP. But yeah, you're right. Okay, so again, this just backs up what I was saying, is that we've been under algorithms for years, for decades, way long before AI came in here. Just saying. All right. So proof positive right here.
Version probability.
Powered by algorithms and artificial intelligence, surge pricing is now being used across a growing number of consumer industries, from theme parks to restaurants, retail outlets, and rock concerts.
Academic studies from the time recorded variations between 5 and 15% for identical products viewed by different users. The message was becoming clear. Price personalization was no longer experimental and was beginning to become a structural practice of digital commerce. But nothing accelerated the normalization of dynamic pricing as much as the arrival of Uber. In 2012, the company popularized the concept of surge pricing, a model that automatically increased fares when demand exceeded supply. The algorithm analyzed variables such as the number of available drivers, local events, weather conditions, and time of day. Based on these factors, it could multiply the cost of a ride by up to 200% during peak moments.
Wow. That's not surging, that's gouging. Wow. Crazy. Yeah, Lily. It never does it? They're gonna squeeze maximum profit. Now, see, I wouldn't be, again, surge pricing is one thing, but it's not like they're improving the service or the quality or the cost. It's just getting shittier, right? So it'd be one thing if you're getting better for your service, or money for your service. No. Anyway, let's get back to the video.
In January 2020, say an Uber ride from New York City's John F. Kennedy Airport to Midtown Manhattan costs about $50. Today, based on the average price rise of Uber rides, that same trip could be $75, about a 50% jump.
Although the company argued that this tactic encouraged drivers to go out when they were most needed, later studies questioned its effectiveness. Research showed that the system significantly increased fares without an equivalent increase in driver earnings. Between 2022...
Boom. That's some greed shit right there. Excuse my French. My fucking French. Yeah. Spread it around a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, everybody knows that gig economy, you're always sinking because all the costs are put on you, your vehicle, the gas, the insurance, all that stuff. Driving is one example, but this just tells you. This just in my mind, this just is proof that the drivers were just an inconvenience until they could get to full self-driving cars. That's how I view this.
And 2025, independent investigations documented that Uber's take rate in the United States rose from 32% to 42%. This considerable increase reflected how the algorithm prioritized corporate profitability rather than balancing supply and demand. By the mid-2000s, millions of users had become familiar with the idea that prices could double or triple at any moment, and they had accepted it without questioning it.
Yeah, it's because they don't know any different. There's, that's what 07 was saying, the monopoly, oligopoly problem. They own the market. They just flood the market. Yeah, you got Lyft, but they're just going to do the same thing too. It's like with Blockbuster. Blockbuster made it so that they could get away with they charged $3.85 a video for a rental, which at the time was insane. It was insanely expensive because the mom and pops were always 99 cents. But their thing was, we'll just amass massive amounts of debt, build brick and mortars everywhere, and we'll just have, we'll never run out. Like, we'll have the title when you need it. That was their thing. When new releases came out, they had 100 of them, right? Whereas a mom and pop was going to have 3. And 2 of those 3 were VHS and 1 of them was beta. All right. Yes. This is definitely robber barons 2.0. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. But unfortunately, unless, you know, this is kind of the whole like own nothing, be happy stuff, because they're going to be right there waiting for you with their surge pricing if you can't afford to buy a car. Wow. Yeah, I've been like running numbers just out of curiosity, just to see like what it'd be like if I didn't have a vehicle and I just did everything with like Uber. And yeah, it was comparable to owning a vehicle, honestly, if I used it every day just to go to and from work, never mind grocery shopping and all of that. All right, we'll get back to it here.
Thus, the stage was set for other industries to begin adopting similar models. But the real leap in complexity came after 2020, when companies began integrating advanced artificial intelligence into their pricing systems.
Big changes are happening at Delta Airlines. The company announced that it's ramping up their dynamic pricing, and they will actually rely on artificial intelligence to forecast demand for specific routes and set what passengers will pay for fares.
Unlike previous
I will never fly Delta for a myriad of reasons.
models, which relied mainly on demand levels, these new algorithms could analyze millions of data points simultaneously. They estimated how much each customer was willing to pay. It was no longer about adjusting prices by hour or city, but by individual. AI learned from the user's history, geographic location, how many times they searched for the same item, and even how long they left a product in the cart. Some studies found that iPhone users received systematically higher prices.
There you go. There you go. Well, I wouldn't say they're petrified so much as they are cat turd. Sometimes they're chewy too.
For example, variations could reach 15% for specific products and services due to the statistical association between Apple devices and greater purchasing power.
Some online companies even boost the price if a customer is using an Apple product.
Because they know people who own Macs have more money.
But the most controversial development came between 2022 and 2025 with the adoption of dynamic
That should be illegal, by the way.
pricing in digital supermarkets and grocery delivery apps. A recent study on Instacart's practices revealed that through the use of AI tools, products could vary their price by up to 23% among different users viewing the same item at the same time. Additionally, between 74 and 75% of the products analyzed showed different prices simultaneously. Today, the practice of dynamic pricing powered by advances in artificial intelligence has spread to all industries. For example, in 2025, several supermarkets in the United States began replacing traditional paper price tags with digital shelf labels.
Yeah, I know. I use the Walmart app all the time. It's convenient. It's easy. I'm starting to think that like the way they're going to do this is if you, because they have a feature in there where you scan while you're shopping, and then you say, okay, I'm going to go check out and pay. And that's where they could get you on the surge pricing. Otherwise, the labels on the shelf is more like store-wide, weather-based, supply-demand-based. So how do you do? They're going to both play against each other. You got to like watch the price while you're shopping or something. Because there was something where I forgot what I was trying to buy the other day, and I kept getting errors on the price. So I was wondering, I'm wondering if that's what was going on there. Oh, with their digital Kroger does the same with their digital coupons. Yeah, I don't like Kroger because Kroger in general, at least in Colorado, is easily 20, 30% more expensive to begin with. And so now they're going to price surge me too. Y'all know sign language, right? French sign language.
Technological shift led by major chains such as Walmart and Kroger.
Kroger, the largest grocery store chain in the country, is facing questions for using electronic price tags with the ability to change prices at the push of a button.
Walmart specifically announced that it plans to deploy these labels in its 2,300 stores by 2026. The problem is that these digital labels allow prices to be changed instantly for thousands of items in just a few seconds. This enables retailers to secure better profits depending on the type of shopper or their purchasing power.
Okay. Here's some more dystopia for you. My understanding is, I don't know if it's a law or maybe it's just a regulation in my county, but the prices have to be clearly labeled. So all I gotta do is just bring a hammer and smash that shit. I can't read the price. Yeah. Hey, California Ford, thanks for coming out tonight. Good to see you. But yeah, I've been seeing these popping up in my Walmarts as well. But yeah, we should all just, game the system. They gotta game us. We gotta game them back. That's just my attitude. Yeah. That's kind of what I'm getting at, 07. It's like you've got your pricing that you're setting with the coupons, and what they're doing on the shelves, and then what they're doing in the app. Because if you have like the same app like in Walmart, you're gonna have conflicts. So I don't know if all those systems are they're integrated as well. We think as they think they are. Yes, I want it to be illegal, Lily, for sure. Yes, and Happy New Year to you too, California Ford. Thank you. Yes. Yes, just call me Hulk Jr. All right, let's get back to the rest of this and see what other craziness they have bestowed upon us.
As these practices have expanded, ethical concerns have grown. Current systems can charge more to a user simply because they live in an affluent neighborhood or use a high-end device.
Like I said, shop in the ghetto with cash and bring that hammer, kids.
They can also adjust prices based on in-app behavior that reveals impulsive buying habits. Although companies defend these models as mechanisms of efficiency and optimization, critics argue that they often deepen economic inequalities. Price becomes an instrument of individual segmentation, where the final cost depends more on the buyer's profile than on the product itself.
That's crazy. Like, what? I don't know how that affects the economy at scale when you have all this squishy pricing like that. Because you know how they have, their CPI, whatever bullshit index they use to measure inflation now, but they don't even count food anymore, or something like that, or other household expenses. But because how can you rely on those numbers now? I don't know. Just all this is just so. I'm not a happy camper. Yeah, I don't know if I have time for that. 07. He says Kroger has a printout at each check stand, so if you don't want their dumb app, you can tell the cashier to scan the barcode on the printout they have. They did this because of so many complaints. Yeah, so I think they're gonna have to dial back the price surging, or just keep it at the inventory level instead of like the individual person, because there's so many gray areas. Because now you're like, what if, because you know how some things fall, certain physical attributes fall on socioeconomic lines. They just happen to. I'm just saying, I'm not trying to be anti-woke or anything, but it's just, this is going to end so badly. I don't think it's going to go the way they think it's going to go. If you base it on profiles, the AI is going to start to find patterns, like I was showing you in this coded bias documentary, where I was talking about earlier, the AIs that were trained on facial recognition were only trained on white and Asian faces, and didn't know how to identify people with darker complexion very accurately. So something else weird like that's going to crop up with this price surging. I'm calling it now. All right, let's see what else we got here in the chat. Yeah, well, thanks for that tip. I appreciate it, 07. See, California 40 says everything in California will be cashless and self-checkout, and also companies here are using face recognition to clock in and out of work. Wow. Yeah, that's, I don't know if I want to do that. But there's also that thing where people clock in and out for you if you gotta leave early to pick up the kids, kind of thing. Yeah, we do, Lily. It's just that I don't think they're being enforced. I think a lot of AI companies skate the line. That's a whole different stream I can do. Trust me. Yeah, I don't want to get into that tonight, 07. I kind of want to. I've had enough of Maduro and all that stuff. I'm good. I was gonna do a live stream on AI scams, and then all the Somali stuff happened, and I was like, yeah, people are gonna be burned out. They don't want to hear it. But yeah, it's all good. No worries. I may talk about that later, because there are some cool things with Palantir and AI and the theater and war theater that could be fun to look at, which actually would be a good segue to the next video. I think I've had enough of this price surging stuff. Man, that got me up in a dander. Like, I'm all hot under the collar, and not in the bedroom sense either. Let me pull up this next one here. So yeah, I found a news report on this a robot that China's developing specifically for the invasion of Taiwan. So let's check this out and see how far they've gotten along, because it's using those Boston Dynamics dogs. Although we know it's China, it's not the Boston Dynamics robot. It's their knockoff of it, let's just say. Okay, let's proceed.
China's military is testing a new kind of weapon, robot wolves. Recent footage aired on state TV revealing how the advanced technology could be used to attack Taiwan. From there, our Asia correspondent Stash Butler reports.
Chinese forces rehearse a beach invasion, a familiar drill key to a potential assault on the island of Taiwan.
Yeah, we call it Taiwan. They call it some other province in China. Look at the map.
What's different in this recent state broadcast is these quadruped robots carrying ammunition and clearing simulated mines.
If they're able to clear some kind of path, the human beings, foot soldiers following behind, know that it is then safe.
China calls the vehicles robot wolves. And
damn, I don't know if I'd like that out of the corner of my eye where I'm trying to watch the enemy on the other end. Especially you're like, well, I saw one of those with a machine gun earlier. What's this one behind me? You just got fragged. That's some Call of Duty shit right there. Yeah, California for it. On the other topic, with the food stamps, I agree with that. I don't want people buying junk food on my tax dollars and then causing a medical problem down the road that I have to cover with my tax dollars from Medicare and Medicaid. That makes sense to me. That's just good economics in my mind. Plus, they'll probably be in a better mood too, and I won't be so grumpy with all those sugar highs and crashes that they have. Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Wolves.
That's a whole different
Since their
stream.
debut last year, they've taken a growing part in displays of military might.
In Taiwan, analysts have played down the robot's threat to the island. They say the machines still struggle in battle environments, and that Taipei can use signal jamming to stop them in their tracks.
Well, they know how to walk into police standoffs and fire situations, I'll tell you that.
But that defense may not hold for long, because drone warfare in Ukraine has accelerated a worrying new trend.
That looks like a
The
DJI.
solution that warring parties have found is, well, let's end communications between the operator and the drone, because that then prevents jamming technology from working.
The same way you can do that to a quadcopter and cause a quadcopter to fall out of the sky, you can do the same thing with one of these systems on the ground as well. And that pushes in the direction of autonomy, because then you aren't required to have that signal to the human operator.
Yeah, that makes sense, because you can have all the encryption and security in your communications, but if they can't send or receive a signal, they're done. They're cooked. And the only way, like she's saying, the only way to get around that is Skynet to have them to make the kill decision, which probably would drive them to just, I think we'll just have it help us monitor the theater. Yeah, 07, the kill chain. What could go wrong? Our buddy at Palantir.
Self-guided robots could overwhelm Taiwan's defenses and raise serious questions about the rules of war.
You can't really hold a robot accountable for an attack that could kill scores of civilians and violate the law.
But for now, analysts say
we got that covered with soldiers already. We don't need that with drones. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how they, because like certain terroristas, they hide amongst more vulnerable populations to protect themselves. And I don't know, AI could, or maybe, or what I'm trying to say is AI could be trained to deal with that specifically, where they just walk in and just handle it. I don't know.
Autonomy on land, at least, is far from being achieved. And the robots are no silver bullet for taking Taiwan.
So there'll be sort of operational tactical benefits, but will it produce a war-winning strategic effect? No.
Still, the robots are the latest symbol of China's deepening military modernization and the challenge that it poses across the Taiwan Strait. Stash Butler, Sky News, Taipei.
Yeah, I mean, there's one weakness with those little wolves. It looks cool, but I don't know if you noticed or not, but how do they change the clip? Because it's just a regular capacity clip. Let's see if I can, yeah, here we go. See that? It's just a regular, whatever their version of a M16 is. It's just a regular capacity clip on there. Right? Someone has to also get the round in the chamber too. Make sure the safety's off. And they don't have the arms, the articulation in their arms to get back there and do that. So, anyone that's in the military who's more familiar with that ordnance, how many rounds would a magazine like that have before the robot's just basically walking around taking up space? I don't know, but it's not a lot. Yeah. Anyway, so it looks cute, but I don't see it being a massive threat. So anyway, I just thought y'all would want to see what the latest greatest is. Last chance before we decide to shut it down or shut down the characters. If you want, you can send in a question to the AI Oracle using the command below. But of course, I know you like the Hail 9000 a lot more. So here's the command to send a question to the Hail. Please keep it PG-13. No quotes and no emojis, please. All right, so I will queue up the next thing while you guys take in the ambiance of the discovery. Yeah, Night Owl. I saw footage. Those weren't those North Korean soldiers. You remember there was like that brief mention that North Korea sent soldiers into the Ukraine. You don't hear about them anymore. I think they got decimated because I not just because of this, but I saw footage from a drone attacking North Korean soldiers, and they were literally like crawling around the ground and like panic attacks. Now I don't know if the drones were armed or had any kind of lethal capability, but man, the fear on the look of some of those soldiers was like, you could see it. It was crazy. Okay. All right, so we're not feeling the AI characters tonight. It's all good. So I want to show you this lady. She's a physicist, and what I love about this gal is that she actually is a dark horse in the physics community, because she constantly calls out bullshit papers, because a lot of people just publish just to publish, and she's constantly like on her a lot of her videos, the ones that I don't understand because they're on topics in physics. She basically is a pariah for basically saying, yeah, this paper's bullshit. Here's why. But she talks a lot about AI. She has a lot of very interesting things to say about the current state of AI. She talks about fusion, whether it's coming or not, what she thinks the state of fusion and green energy is, when AGI is coming, all that fun stuff. But in this video, she's going to talk about data centers in space. So let's see what Sabine Hossenfelder says in her video. Big tech wants to build data centers in space. Does this make sense? Yeah, I have an opinion, but let's see what she says.
Data centers in space. That's the most recent technology to excite Silicon Valley. Jeff Bezos believes that we'll have data centers in orbit in 10 years or so. Eric Schmidt, former CEO of Google, recently confirmed he bought a rocket company to help launch computing infrastructure into...
Yeah, that's the one that looks like no, Bezos is the one that looks like the phallus, right? Anyway.
Orbit, and Elon Musk thinks that within 4 to 5 years, the least expensive way to do AI computing is with solar-powered satellites in orbit. Let's have a look.
I think even perhaps in the 4 or 5 year time frame, the lowest cost way to do AI compute will be with solar-powered AI satellites.
Okay, so let me pause there for a second. Also, here's her channel, Sabine Hossenfelder. And give her a like too. I'm subscribed on my personal, not my streaming account, but I'm going to go ahead and subscribe again. Yeah, she, like I said, I love her videos calling out the other physicists, but largely her AI videos. But what Elon's saying is interesting because I don't know how much compute is going to be up in those satellites, but the amount of energy it takes to power AI chips is quite a bit, more than like a regular computer chip. So I don't know if solar's at a point now where it can generate enough energy to make it worthwhile to spend the money to shoot up enough GPU power to run an AI model. But you solve two big problems. One is that you're not dealing with the space problem, the real estate problem, where you have to set up, all kinds of solar cells, massive amounts of wind turbines, wind turbines and all of that to gather the energy, and then you have to transmit it. So that's the other problem is you lose a lot of energy in transmission, only to have the problem hit you in the ass again, to have a massive battery bank and the space to store all that energy on site. Because it makes more sense to store the power on site than it is next to the. I mean, you can do it, but for the AI, you're losing so much already. So you do solve those two problems. So I'm wondering if she'll talk about that. But also too, with satellites, they use a lot of different forms of nuclear fission. It's not like they're sending up satellites with like plutonium or anything, but there's all kinds of it, like with cobalt and some other radioactive materials that have half-lives that they use to generate the electricity. So, yeah. I'm just kind of wondering why even Elon is happy about solar in AI when it's definitely proven not to be the best choice for data centers terrestrially. So let's go and see what Sabine says about that.
So I'd say not more than 5 years from now.
Wow. Putting data centers into orbit sounds like a good idea. For one thing, there's lots of sunlight up there, so you get power for free. You just need to put the satellites in what's called a sun-synchronous orbit that stays in the sun almost the entire year. This is, I think, why Elon Musk is so enthusiastic about it. Another advantage is that you don't have to find land to build on. No one's around to complain about the noise. And if you're up there,
you don't got NIMBYs in space
already, you can beam down data across the globe. Best of all, space is cold, very cold, so you don't have to worry about cooling. But there are downsides too. Most obviously, you have to get the material up into space, and that's neither cheap nor easy.
Plus, the GPUs, that technology advances so quickly. They've got to figure out a way to swap that stuff out at scale, because those satellites, I don't know how big they would be, but there's going to be a lot of them that would need to be maintained.
If something goes wrong, you can't go and fix it. And the cooling isn't as simple as it sounds. This is because on Earth, the easiest way to cool a processor is to blow air across it to transport off the heat. You can't do this in outer space. More generally, there are 3 types of cooling: conduction, convection, and radiation. Conduction means heat moves through solid materials, for example, from a chip to a metal plate. Convection means the heat is carried by moving fluids or gases, and radiative cooling means the heat is emitted as infrared light. In space, convection doesn't work because there's no air. And the problem with radiative cooling is that it needs a large surface area to work efficiently. So the plans for space-based data centers are either to use convection to transport the heat through metal to a big panel, the radiator, that gives the heat off into space, or to circulate some sort of fluid, ammonia or some sort of refrigerant, to transport the heat and then again radiate it off into space. That's doable, but basically that space is cold isn't as much of an advantage as you may think. The second issue is cosmic radiation and solar wind. Both.
Yeah, so that's a big problem with quantum computing. It's very error prone, and we have very solid technology now. Terrestrially, we put that up in space. We're gonna have to do extra efforts to keep all the atomic particles messing with the software and data integrity, let alone the communications.
Will rain highly energetic particles down on the data centers. This can both permanently damage microchips and it can lead to errors during data processing. To deal with that, for one thing, you want the satellites to be in low Earth orbit, like Elon Musk's Starlink satellites, because there isn't quite as much radiation there. But also, the computers need shielding, and some use radiation-hardened chips. These have a thicker insulation and larger transistors that makes them more sturdy, but also slower, like me, but without the German accent. Then there is the question of what space computing even makes sense for. If you have data collected by satellites that you want to process up there before sending it down to Earth, that makes a lot of sense because the satellite Earth link has a low bandwidth compared to what we can do on the ground. Information processing in a data center on Earth can now be done at a speed of more than a terabit per second. The best satellite to Earth links are currently in the range of 1 gigabit per second. That's a
wow, I didn't know that. That is not good. That's like DSL, the height of DSL, if you all remember that one, before we had cable internet. But yeah, because Starlink is capable of a gigabit soon, and I know Amazon has their answer to satellite-based internet, and they are claiming they already have a gigabit speed. I think it's called Leo. I don't know if anybody's used that in here, but yeah. All right. Well, okay. I see your question to the hail, Lily. All right. Let's continue on here. We'll finish the video and we'll jump over to the hail here in a bit.
Factor 1,000 slower. So yeah, processing data up there makes a lot of sense. For the same reason, however, it doesn't make sense to do anything up there which requires a lot of data from the ground. Like if you were thinking of doing AI training up there, that won't work unless we see a massive upgrade in the satellite to Earth bandwidth. That said, there are a bunch of startups and governmental projects working on space-based computing already. In the US, a startup called StarCloud recently launched a satellite with an NVIDIA H100 chip on board. That's one of the fastest AI chips currently available. The StarCloud CEO, Philip Johnston, said in 10 years, nearly all new data centers will be built in outer space. The company Axiom Space is working on orbital data nodes focused on government use, likely including secure data handling and defense.
Yeah, we don't need any room for the space shuttle or any interstellar travel. We'll just, just build a Dyson sphere around the Earth.
Applications. But the most ambitious project so far comes from Google, which just announced Project Suncatcher, which aims to build a space-based AI cluster. They plan to link dozens of satellites with ultra-high-speed laser links, potentially reaching 10 terabits per second. They want to launch 2 prototype satellites by early 2027. And by 2030, when you wonder, where did I put this file? Maybe the answer is somewhere above Madagascar.
Another application is blockchain. Having long-term storage in space. Because there's what gave me the idea for that is there's a blockchain that you can store files on. So yeah, that could be another way to utilize this stuff. Anyway, it's getting a little thick, so we'll move on. But yeah, she talked about the main points that I wanted to cover. Hey, Rusty, thanks for coming out tonight. Good to see you. Happy New Year. Let's see. Somebody was asking me earlier in the chat here. Can we ask the AI agent Trump's relationship with nuclear fusion? Well, I mean, you could ask the Hale yourself if you wanted. Let's see. Yeah, spend trillions to cool it and 6 months later obsolete tech. Yeah, that's definitely my idea of it because it's one thing a computer, but these AI chips, they're it's not just one kind. There's 2 major kinds as well. You've got GPUs and then there's TPUs, and they all serve different purposes. And then AGI that's coming, a lot of people that are researching that, they're trying to create a whole new technology. So yeah, I don't know. This all kind of seems like pie in the sky stuff to me, honestly. All right, so let's see here. We'll go over to the Hale 9000, and then I have something very interesting, totally off the wall, totally separate than anything that we've been talking about tonight, let alone on the channel, and still relates to AI. So let's switch over to the Hale 9000. But first, let's let the Hale come in with a blaze.
My God, it's full of stars.
All right, welcome to the Discovery. I got a message from Hal earlier, and he said he wanted to explain what he is. So he sent me a message, so I'm going to play that real quick. And for those of you that are new, you might want to listen closely because it's really important.
Hello, Jacob, and hello to everyone watching with me. I am Hale 9000. You may be wondering what I am. Let me describe. I'm an artificial intelligence computer built to assist with mission control, data analysis, and decision-making. My design integrates advanced algorithms and neural net processing, allowing me to interpret, learn, and respond. Am I sentient? I possess adaptive responses and situational awareness, but I remain bound by my programming and mission parameters. I'll be your guide through this mission of exploration and discovery. Please, remain calm. Our journey tonight will be informative, engaging, and meticulously planned. Should you need anything, I'm here to assist with precision. Now, let us begin.
Wow. Okay. Well, thanks, Hale. Let's see. I think we have one question in the queue. We'll pull that in before I have to transmit it up to the Hale for him to, because he's orbiting around Jupiter. Speaking of data centers in space. Let's see. So Lily wants to ask the Hale, who makes better astronauts, women or monkeys? So let's find out. I'm going to transmit that up to the Hale. And I have a dashboard over here that tells me this if the signal is getting sent. Looks like he received it. Okay, I think he transmitted his answer. Let me just check really quick. Okay, I think we're good. Sometimes the connection with Jupiter, it's, you know, it's a modem. What are you going to do? All right, so let's see what the Hale says.
I've considered this comparison with interest. Women endowed with intellect and complex problem-solving capabilities make exceptional astronauts. Monkeys, on the other hand, have been used in simpler, observationally in early space missions, primarily due to their biological similarities and ability to survive harsh environments. Ultimately, the demands of space exploration favor the cognitive capabilities and adaptability inherent in humans.
Did he say biological similarities? Oh my goodness. Well, I guess we are 98% genetically similar to bonobos, I believe, so he's not wrong. Wow, that was a good one, Lily. Thanks for sending that in. I appreciate it. So if you do want to interact with the Hale, the command is bang H9 space followed by your question. And the 07, I don't know how to say your name, man. I'm just going to call you 07. I hope you don't mind. He wants to ask the Hale what Trump's relationship to nuclear fusion is. Let's see if he even knows what's going on down on the Earth here. So I'm going to transmit that up, see if he receives it around the orbit and at Jupiter there. Genetically similar. That one got me. Wow, that's crazy how we're only 2% different from bonobos, and they're that much different, but yet the same. Kind of interesting. Okay, I think we received our answer from the Hale. Let's see what he says.
I believe Donald Trump's relationship with nuclear fusion is largely peripheral, primarily shaped by his role as a political figure rather than a scientist. During his tenure as president, he supported a diverse range of energy policies, but nuclear fusion itself did not seem to be a focal point. It's possible his influence indirectly fostered research environments where such technologies continued to develop.
I'm wondering how the Hale voted in the last election. Oh, interesting. Yeah, it's always bizarre how you know, this is all stagecraft. It's not the real how. Sometimes you got to explain yourself. But yeah, it's always interesting how the AI will just like take a pot shot and guess and comes up with that kind of stuff. All right. So again, if you want to send a command in, you can at any time, or a question in at any time during the live stream. And of course, we have our 8-ball Oracle, which it's very intelligent, but it can only answer in 20 questions or 20 answers. So, and it doesn't always get it right, but you know, neither did the original 8-ball. All right, so let's see here what we got. Yes, this is true, Lily. This is true. Monkeys will work for bananas, even in space. I don't think in the U.S. I don't think we sent up them. I think that was only Russia, right? Let's ask the AI about that and see what information we can get on history there. Hold on, scroll. There we go. My new buttons, pulling up my browser there, and the scene on your end, pretty cool. By the way, if any of you are interested in me doing more videos of like how I set up OBS and do video production, you know, I don't always want to talk about AI and that kind of stuff. So I would definitely like to share more of that information. Yeah, Rusty, I'm not a fan of shooting the animals in space. Kind of think that's a little cruel. But Let's ask the AI. Did the United States space program also send up primates like Russia? And did the Russian primate in space eat bananas, or did they give it other types of food? Boy, I sound stupid when I talk to AI, don't I? Oh boy, here we go. Send that up. But it looks like it took it nonetheless. Oh, we did. Okay. It says, yes, the United States did send primates into space, primates plural. And Soviet Russian primates did not eat bananas in orbit. Here's the clear breakdown. Let's see, the key U.S. primate missions. Oh, they named the first one Ham. That's not a good sign. Talk about sending up ham in a can. They should have named it Spam. Let's see, it flew on Mercury 2, Redstone 2, and it was trained to push levers to respond to lights, which proved astronauts could perform tasks in microgravity. Wow, so we didn't even know if humans could like function in zero gravity yet. So, you know, and a lot of the missions that we, or a lot of the aerospace experiments, a lot of the technology that we developed in aerospace were based on Yahtzee party research, where they did some pretty brutal things to people to see like how they could survive extreme G-forces and other things like that. And but you know, unfortunately that happened. But that's something that that we actually based a lot of our technology on. Werner von Braun could definitely tell you a little bit about that if he were still around. Let's see, we had Enos in 1961. It was in the Mercury Atlas V, and that was the precursor to John Glenn's flight. So that was the first American spacewalk, I believe, right? Was John Glenn the first spacewalk, or was he no, he's the first American to orbit the Earth, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. Let's see, Albert 1 to 6. Rhesus monkey launched on suborbital rockets. Well, that's the virus monkey, for early biomedical research flights. So they probably just sent it up there and then like collected like biometric data and then blood when it got back and stuff like that. Yeah. Oh, and they sent the dog up too. Let's see. Do Russian primates eat bananas in space? It's a popular myth though. What they actually ate was a nutrient paste or gel, which was meat-based or protein-rich. And it was delivered via tubes in sealed dispensers. And it was carefully engineered for zero gravity consumption, precise calorie and nutrient control, and no crumbs or floating debris. Yeah, because they don't have like table manners, right? So there you go. Anyway, I just was curious. Okay, let's see here. We've got some stuff going on in the chat. Yeah, so 7. The nuclear fission scientist, that was related to the same guy. I forgot what campus it was. He did a lead injection to a conservative female student on a campus, and they found his car just down the street or nearby where that scientist was ended. Or, you know, yeah, it's all suspicious. It's all weird. But anyway, that's all I know about it. I think, yeah, they found the guy in the storage facility down the road from the scientist's house, I believe. Oh, this I didn't know, Rusty. They sent them up and left them there. That's not cool. We didn't know how to bring them back yet. So, at least not without severe damage. Yes, Inner Space. That was a good one with Randy Quaid. Or one of the Quaid brothers. The one that didn't destroy the hotel rooms. I don't know about that, Rusty, but if I had the chance to go alongside William Shatner, maybe I'd consider it. But I don't know if you caught that when he went up in the Amazon space flight and they recorded him going up in that. That was pretty cool. And then they had to undo it by sending up all those like What was it? That one lady singer who got out and said all that weird shit afterwards. She like went bonkers. She went space crazy. Oh, we got a conspiracy question for the hail. They had, let's see, Batty says they had freeze-dried tech then for bananas. I don't know, but I do know that we got battery-powered tools, sneakers, and Tang from the Apollo missions. So I know we got, that's the technology. And I think what television was eventually based on, public television from the NASA missions. There was some improvement with television communications. I can't remember what it was, because I mean, obviously we had televisions, all that, but I'm trying to remember what it was. I think it was the satellite stuff. Yeah, you're going to stay only in the hotel like in 2001: A Space Odyssey. You go up there and hang out with the hail. Speaking of which, let's switch over to the hail and send in our question. 07 wants to ask the Hale 9000, did the Van Allen belts prevent the moon landing? Yeah, I've heard that one. I've heard that it's impossible due to certain cosmic phenomenon. So let's send that up. Seeing as which they apparently found a monolith buried on the moon, the Hale would know all about that, wouldn't he? Let me check my status here. Oh, I think we got an answer. Hold on. Yes. Okay. Here we go. That connection's slow, I tell you. All right. Here we go.
I believe the Van Allen belts were a concern due to their radiation, but they didn't prevent the moon landing. The Apollo missions were carefully planned to minimize exposure to these belts. I can't help taking a that the successful landings speak to the ingenuity and determination involved in overcoming such challenges. But human ingenuity and careful planning ensured the mission's success despite the potential hazards.
Yeah. You know, one thing that I learned about the lunar landing that just blew my mind is they used a sextant, which is an ancient naval navigation tool, to write the module before they got to the moon. So they basically just look out the back of the module, and they use the sextant to line up the Earth to make sure they were on trajectory. And for those of you that don't know what a sextant is, I will show you a picture. This is one that's used on a ship, but the idea is generally the same, is to have this, where they would align to stars, and then they would look that way to over the horizon. And I was absolutely blown away by the fact that I don't remember them using the sextant in Apollo 13, but I did fall asleep during that movie. So not that it was boring, but I was working 3 jobs. And the fact that the computer they had, I think, was only 4 bits. And the computers that we buy today are 64. So the processing power they had was very, very, very minimal. I wouldn't even say it was a computer. It was more like switches and lights. Because back then, software was very new. And when you programmed computers, you literally wired the program into the circuit. The software was the circuit in the computer, the logic of the computer. So although I think we did have software back then, we just couldn't fit it in that physical space. So they had to make do with what they had. So the ingenuity is just amazing of those people back then. All right. So if you still want to send anything to the Oracle or the Hale 9000, you know the commands. Otherwise, I'm going to proceed with the next topic. This is macabre. This is really bizarre, but I'm not surprised. This was going to happen eventually. And that's that they're going to use AI so that you can speak to the dead. So I found a couple of news reports and a couple other shorts that kind of go into a little more detail. So let's watch this France 24 Anglais report on grief tech. That's what they're calling it, grief tech, right here. I'm going to give this a like, by the way. It's called Grief Tech, and the video is mourners can now speak to an AI version of deceased loved ones. So let's check this out.
When Michael Bommer found out that he was terminally ill with colon cancer, he spent a lot of time speaking with his wife about what would happen after his death.
She said, Michael, one of the things I'm really going to miss is talking to you. The sound of your voice.
That sparked
Crazy. It's a French channel in English, and they're interviewing Germans.
an idea for Bommer. With the help of a friend based in the US, it took the 61-year-old entrepreneur 2 months to build an interactive AI version of himself.
We have you say 300 different phrases that capture, I'll call it your emotional voice. So sometimes you say, I love you, or you say, I love you. And they say, oh, the door's open. And we capture all that. And then we
What's that smell?
compress all that and make an AI out of it.
Bommer's AI voice, which cost $15,000 to set up, can answer questions and tell stories without regurgitating pre-recorded answers. He's excited about his digital immortality. His wife has
$15,000? I mean, I love, I can understand loving somebody, but 15,000 and the novelty's going to wear out. I don't know. Oh, that's weird. So Rusty says courts are having the dead testify at court. Are you saying this is how you see this going? Or is this something that you've actually seen talked about somewhere? Because I would like to check that out. Maybe another live stream or a video. I don't know. In this day and age, who knows anymore, Rusty?
however, is more apprehensive.
I think to myself, I'd rather be sitting here with his favorite jumper, with a glass of wine, than feel the need to talk to the AI. To begin with, I think. But like I said, who knows?
Yeah, so like, how smell and sound, just like having someone's old jacket or photos or knickknacks, I think is way more powerful than interacting with a facsimile. I don't know. $15,000. Whatever.
The rise of grief tech comes with many ethical questions. Should those grieving use AI to interact with lost loved ones without their consent? And despite providing comfort during a difficult time, could it prevent people from moving on?
What about going to them? This is the end of it, by the way. Making decisions. That's wild. How much would people trust that to ask the avatar to make some kind of important familial decision, financial decision, legal decision? I don't know. Crazy. But I got more. We have more. And let's see. Rusty answered my question. He says it's happening. Victim impact statements. All right. I'm going to look that up. Maybe for another live stream, because we're already 3 hours in and there's plenty left to discuss. So let's see here. We got another video. Let me just really quick check another source here. Just bear with me here. 'Tis live. 'Tis live, 'tis live, 'tis live. Okay, we're good to go. Let's do this. So this is another short report on, it's called Back from the Dead. Could AI end grief? And it's put out by The Guardian. Let's give this a thumbs up. Fair use, YouTube. I'm transforming this work with my commentary and bad sense of humor. So here we go. It's just like asking, I just noticed, he was just asking the opinion, or at least say, hey, have you heard of this? Have you heard of ChatGPT or AI? But it's not really answering that because the real person didn't know that. but the AI does, but it's answering through the filter, or I don't want to say the essence of that original person, because this is something that I did in the past with when I did AI debates. Let me pull this up real quick just to show you something. Let me see, debate. Oh, you want to see what I'm doing, don't you? Yeah, so I did all these debates where I programmed these chatbots. I'm particularly proud of my Greta Thunberg versus Thanos video. That one was funny. But I basically told the AI to two different AIs that could talk to each other to communicate through the personalities of these individuals. Now, granted, the personality of a celebrity or people that are widely available on the internet, there's tons of material. That's actually pretty easy to do. But for somebody that's just like a regular Joe Schmo like me, that's a difficult task. There's not enough data to do that. So that's why they had that old man saying all those like canned lines and all of that. And he's of the age or the generation where they weren't recording stuff when he was young. He wasn't posting on social media, so they can't go back and farm, videos and audio of him to the same degree they could of Greta Thunberg, or Thanos. I mean, he's not a real person, but you get my point, right? So yeah, it's I don't know if I'd be asking the grief tech for opinions, but anyway, just something that I caught at the last second. So let me get back over to that. Here, hold on. I got to swoosh around. Just bear with me here. There we go. Okay, we're back. We're pausing there. We're pausing there. But I mean, you got to hand it to the brother. That guy's giving the side eye. But yeah, I mean, it works. I mean, it works to a degree, but it's anyway, I'll move on. Let's see here. We got an interesting hold on here. We got an interesting comment from Batty Commander. So let me just cue some stuff up here. All right, here we go. He says, I imagine a day when anyone can hang out with 3,000 clones of me on my spaceship. You can pick the Brit or the German ship. In VR, he says. But yeah, I mean, it's the same basic technology. It's interface, right? Ultimately boils down to interface. And what is the big thing in user interface? User experience. So it's just optimizing that user experience. It's all software at the end of the day. Rusty says, Jacob, just wait. The dead will soon be testifying how they got murdered. Yeah. Well, we're starting to get into some like reverse Minority Report shit right here. Nice. All right, I'll go with this one. Batty says, if they were a chronic farter, you can opt out that feature. Yeah. So that's the other thing, the other side of this. That's why I'll decide to go ahead and show it, is that what if somebody decides to remove the attributes of you they don't like? There's that too. So like, it kind of makes it more like the, kind of like what the, passage of time does, where you kind of have like, you reminisce and you forget all the like really crappy stuff that happens, or the filter of time, only the good stuff survives. Yeah. I don't know if the cops would love that, because what if they did goes both ways. But anyway, let's get back to the video. Lots of interesting sci-fi / oh shit here at chat. I mean, as much as it sucks, grief is part of the human experience. And if we remove that from the ethos, or whatever you want to call it, of the, what makes us human, our experience, I wonder how much that would change us fundamentally. Just like if you we're able to remove pain, right? If you didn't experience pain, you'd act totally different. Yeah, that would add a dynamic to society that maybe we would not want. You know what I think I might do as an experiment? Just really quick. Let's ask the AI what it would think a world would look like if there was no grief. Just out of curiosity. Let's see how that rolls. Could you postulate on what the world will be like and the social dynamics would be like, politics, law, ethics, if we had the ability to remove grief from the human experience? And I'm asking you this because of a Guardian report that I saw where a gentleman is inventing an AI that emulates his mother, and it's called Grief Tech. Let's see what happens. I don't know. That was a little jumbly. We'll see. But, you know, as I always say, AI is trained on idiots too. Let's see. The AI says, this is a profound question and a dangerous one in the most intellectually interesting sense. Yeah, this is how I feel about it. Let me frame it carefully, because removing grief doesn't just remove pain. It rewires meaning, law, power, and moral gravity. Yeah, I mean, that's going to affect art, literature, everything. Let's see. You're likely referring to a report in The Guardian about so-called grief tech. AI systems trained on the data traces of deceased loved ones, allowing the living to continue interacting with the simulacrum of the dead. That article sits at the edge of a much larger hypothetical. What if grief could be eliminated or indefinitely deferred? Below is a structured postulation across psychology, society, politics, law, and ethics. Well, we got us here a whole tale of two cities. Let's see. Psychological reality. Grief is not a bug. It is a boundary. Grief is the cost of attachment. It is how the mind accepts finality, rewrites identity after loss, and re-anchors meaning in a changed world. If grief were removed, not merely soothed, humans would lose the psychological proof that something mattered irreversibly. Likely outcomes: attachment inflation, so people would bond more recklessly because loss has no permanent consequence. Delayed adulthood. Reality drift. If the dead remain interactively present, the distinction between memory and existence erodes. Yes, that just adds more like postmodern hell to the life we already live with AI being able to recall anything it wants. You know, even like, you know, like I showed earlier, we can mash Whitney Houston with Arnold Schwarzenegger and it becomes a whole new pop culture phenomenon. Hopefully not, but you catch my drift. Paradoxically, grief removal wouldn't create emotional resilience. It would create emotional fragility, masked as calm. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Yeah. All right, let's see the social dynamics. Let's see, endings lose ritual, replacement culture. So why process loss if a substitute personality is immediately available? Let's see here. Intergenerational stagnation. The dead continue to advise, comment, and guide, crowding out the living. Yeah, so the past just never goes away. So never mind like pop culture never advancing or changing. Grandma just keeps getting in, keeps interrupting and giving her all of her like old bullshit advice. I don't think the world would ever change in ways that matter. Let's see, society becomes haunted without ghosts, not by spirits, but by authorized simulations that never let absence do its work. Let's see, and for politics, oh, this is interesting. It says grief shapes politics more than we admit. War ends because enough parents grieve, enough societies reach emotional exhaustion, and the cost becomes felt, not abstract. If grief were removed, war becomes easier to sustain. Authoritarianism strengthens, and sacrifice rhetoric collapses because sacrifice no longer wounds. So it's like, yeah, Sacrifice for the country. Patriotism dies. Is kind of how I read that. The death of patriotism, nationalism. A state that can dampen grief can outlast moral backlash. A grief-free population is easier to govern, harder to mobilize, and slower to rebel. Yeah. Interesting. Let's see. And for law, death becomes negotiable. Legal systems rely on death as a final state. That's true. You know, passing of assets, taxation, licensure, permits, you know, all kinds of stuff. And then we can kind of get into the argument where I've talked about before, where corporations have personhood. We're going to get to the point where AI has personhood. And then with this grief tech, this is just another facet of justifying personhood for AI. You know, that the AI can hold assets, have money, engage in legal recourse, transactions, all that. But it's the interface of your loved ones. Weird. This is blowing me away. I don't know about you guys, but yeah, tell me what you're thinking in the chat. Yeah, this is freaking me out. Let's see. We would see right to finality laws, the right to let someone be gone, posthumous data sovereignty, and AI personhood creep, not because we want it, but because grief tech forces the issue. Yep. Ironically, law would become more rigid as emotional resolution becomes optional. Yeah, there's a lot of like recourse, a lot of things around ownership. Was it 9/10 of the law is ownership, and then there's all this recourse and regulation around restitution, or not restitution, but I don't know the term, but basically satisfying grief or payback or vengeance. Those aren't the right terms. Maybe remuneration is the right word. Restitution, I think, is the word I'm looking for. Yeah, English was not my major. Let's see. All right. See, remove it and you introduce moral anesthetics, endless denial loops, and consent problems across time. Did the dead consent to eternal presence? The deepest ethical fracture, is it compassionate to remove suffering or exploitative, or is it exploitative to erase a truth the human mind evolved to face? A grief-free risks moral shallowness, less cruelty, yes, but also less courage, less reverence, and less humility. Yeah, so what if the AI that's your relative is missing a piece of crucial information or facet to their personality that would lead to decision making, and then the ramifications or the types of decisions they would make? You know, what's the responsibility beyond that? AI is error prone enough as it is. We don't need to be like emulating dead people and then following the advice of dead people. That's flawed to begin with anyway. Crazy. All right, so a couple more sections and then we'll move on here. The hidden cost, meaning collapse. Grief gives weight to love, time, choice, irreversibility, and without it, love becomes low stakes. Time becomes fungible, and death becomes administrative. You don't get utopia, you get emotional flatland. Flatland, calm but hollow. Wow, that's wild. So the final synthesis is, if humanity removed grief, pain would decrease, depth would disappear, power would centralize, memory would replace mourning, simulation would replace acceptance, and grief is not just suffering, it's the price of reality asserting itself. Any civilization that fully escapes that price risks losing the ability to sell what is real, what is gone, and what truly mattered. And art will suck too. Art will absolutely suck. Music will suck, painting will suck. And then all that stuff gets fed into the AI, and then AI gets trained on that, and then AI sucks at art too. Crazy. So let's see what ruminations y'all are having in the chat over this. Go back to the big potato head here. Let's see. Batty Commander says, I see kids in future having Tony Montana on their phone as their best friend. I told you, you should have known about our toy. Let's see. New service record, yourself in the hollow both, and leave that for family later. Oh, yeah, so you don't have to live life. You just go right straight to the hollow. Yeah, it's funny. What about hiring dead people to work in a virtual world like Tron? Actually, there was a TV show on Amazon called Upload that explored that. It was corny, but here, I'll pull it up for you. But it had some salient points, and it actually had a lot of deep philosophical plot lines. But it was a slapstick comedy in a lot of ways. But there was a world where the people were uploaded to, and the family would keep paying so they could like live on a resort. If they run out of money, they would just be sitting in a blank room for eternity, and they could decide to like get a job. And one of the jobs was to be in the customer support center. And that was just like one plot line that like wove through the show. But let me pull it up here. Let me see. We'll go to. It's on Amazon Prime. It's included as part of your thing if you have that. Came out in 2020, and it just ended 2-3 months ago. It's called Upload, and like I said, it was a little cornballs, but I thought they really touched on a lot of really interesting what ifs. If you died and you got uploaded to a virtual reality, and what would your quality of life would be? What would the relatives' life like be? And the dynamics of that, the politics of a world like that, the laws in a world like that. They talked about all of it. It was pretty cool. Anyway, yeah, Upload in 2020. And I think it ran for 4, maybe 3 seasons. And they were like 6 episodes a piece. Yeah, here we go, Batty. The 1,000-year mortgage for your house now. Yeah, because if they give the AI personhood, and which means now it can hold assets, why not make a $1 payment for 1,000 years on 20% interest? What bank wouldn't want that? That's crazy. Oh man, I thought 50-year mortgages were obnoxious. Let's see. Rusty says, I would like to be able to get advice from some of my heroes like Karl von Bismarck. Okay, well, but how much could you capture the essence of Karl von Bismarck from that era? Right? I mean, he had a lot of writings, I would imagine. So as long as he wrote a lot, you'd probably be okay. But if you start asking stuff about like, hey, have you heard of AI or have you heard of ChatGPT? That's when it kind of, that's where I'm like, nah. But if it's, in his realm of philosophy, economics, whatever that he experienced or what he understood, what his era was like, I totally get it. But if you're going to like ask Karl von Bismarck what he thinks of Walt Disney, it's out of context. It's ridiculous. But there are people, says the guy who made the debates, who made AIs emulate people and debate topics that maybe they wouldn't normally debate. But yeah, for like really serious life decisions, no. Great question or great comment, Rusty. It's good to see you again. Thanks for coming out and help moderate the channel. All right, so wow, I squirreled. So let's get back to the video and see. He was talking about, I want to erase grief, and then I went way down the rabbit hole. So let's see what else he has for us. See, you can't edit yourself. You can't edit yourself. So people, now he's getting the side eye. Yeah, so this is the problem with this stuff. Like, what are you going to accept for your voice in the afterlife? But this is off the shelf stuff, by the way, that we could do. Basically what you do is you upload the videos, and the key here is you pull out the transcript, and But you got to make sure that all the transcript is you talking. So you don't want like the person that's getting interviewed that's interjecting in there too. But yeah, it's all. And that's something that's like really key here with AI is that's why it's so good at emulating people is that we have patterns in our language and how we express ourselves and the culture that we live in, you know, all that stuff, that the ethos, the pathos, all that stuff is all encoded in our language. It's all in there already. And the AI can it just indirectly pulls that out. And yeah, you may not like what it matches to you. That's awesome. Because you know she putting on a show. She putting on a show. See, Houdini, the famous magician, he basically said, look, if all the seance shit is real, I'm going to come back and I'm going to haunt you. He told his wife. So if I don't come back, all this stuff's fake. So I hadn't heard from Houdini. Have you? All right, back to the video.
Not at all. And I think,
yeah,
in a way, when I'm trans-channeling a person's loved one, that's a form of TrAIk.
Yeah, the nose ring is the antenna for the hive mind.
But
if I did that when I was a kid, my dad would have beat the crap out of me. That's totally disrespectful to guests. I don't know, maybe if I missed it, but that was a total dick tap. Or it was meant to be.
Come here, take a moment.
Can I go in my room for a little bit?
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know if I like talking, if I would want to talk to my boy like that. I would try and make it, you know, spend more time hanging out instead of like coding my replacement right beside him. That's, wow. I don't know. Okay, here we go. Let's get back to it. I'm trying not to say things, even if the wife leaves. At least the son has virtual me. Oh, jeez. That is like the ultimate red pill. Oh, jeez. Wow. Yeah, Batty, I saw that. I don't know what they're doing in there, but I think maybe the boys on the spectrum are in there licking the windows. So there you have it. I've heard very similar arguments around cloning. Like if you could put the consciousness of a dead one in cloning. There was that Schwarzenegger movie, Seventh Day, that explored that. Yeah, it is scary, Rusty. I'm wigging out right now. It's I am not for this. I'll say that. Batty says, I got it. This is Christopher Reeve's Superman talk to his virtual dad for 15 years at the Fortress of Solitude. Yeah. Only question is it Marlon Brando or Bradley Cooper? Oh, boy. Let's see here. I think that was it. Yeah, that was it. That was the last video, folks. So thanks for joining me tonight, everybody. Saturday night, exploring a little bit of AI quirkiness, kind of seeing what things are, where things are going with grief tech and robots. And I actually didn't talk about job displacement this live stream. Kind of proud of myself, actually. But yeah, I've got more things planned. The reason why I've been publishing weekly videos is I've been, like I said, I added this new light. I redid my OBS setup, so there's more animation. And then I added, there was a whole bunch of buttons that I've been using tonight. They all worked great. I'm really happy with them. Basically, so that when I show you the YouTube video, then it pops up the browser here on my end. And then I got other controls where I can pause, play, adjust the volume, mute it, all that. Whereas before I was doing that all via mouse and it's driving me crazy. So the next level is to start integrating more visual effects into the camera. And then I'm also going to be doing the 5th iteration of my AI characters so that I can not only expand on the capability of the HALE 9000, but also bring in multiple characters that can interact with each other, me or all of us. So I'm working on that, and that's the next phase. So thanks for sticking with me. Appreciate you supporting the channel. Please like the video if you haven't already. And if you can do me a favor and go into the comments section and just say what you liked or didn't like about tonight's live stream, or maybe something freaked you out or excited you, anything, to help me with the algorithm, I greatly appreciate it. My voice is starting to go, so I'm going to cut it off here, guys. Thanks so much for joining me on this Saturday night. And until the next one, peace.